Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
And James Farley.
Hello.
The kids are back in school, the kids are back in school. Yeah. Oh, the kids are back in school. Whoa, whoa.
There aren't any songs celebrating that, are there? We should write
There is now.
Sean, do you think someone should release one like it's England getting to the Euros?
Yeah, oh God, I'd love that.
There's no one done that. That seems like a missed opportunity.
Farley needs to record it. I can see the video with a spotlight on James Farley in a suit with a bow tie, but the bow tie's untied. Yeah, and he's got his jacket slung over his shoulder with a mic in the other hand, and he's singing about the kids going back. I mean,
and about when the key change happens, about 2/3 through the show, he gets
off of the stool. Yeah,
from the song playing.
yeah.
If I do that, do I then spin around as well and then walk forward? And then, God,
yes. I tell you how happy James Farley is. He tweeted this morning with just emojis.
Oh my God, I saw that, and I was like, hang on.
Did you work out what he was trying to say? Did you work out what he was trying to say?
Yeah, I worked it out, but first I was like, hang on, is this James announcing he's having twins? I was like, 2 kids, party, and I eventually worked it out, but I was like, what is this?
Well, I'll tell you what I thought it was. I thought he was celebrating somewhere in the world where gay marriage was legalised. I genuinely thought that, because if you look at that, it looks like 2 girls next to a church and celebrations. So I thought, is that a gay marriage thing? Because that's cool. I want to know about it. And I texted you and he went, no, it's 2 children going to school and me celebrating. I was like, okay, James. Yeah, I mean, emojis maybe not your strong suit, mate. If you want to get the message across, you need to work on that.
This was the problem, because when I tried to do it, I tried to search for children, and that's all that came up. And then school was rubbish. They weren't very good options for that either. The celebration's fine, but yeah, it didn't go down very well. You weren't the only one who didn't know what it was about either, Dave. So it's
I'm not surprised. That does not surprise me. But
I'm quite happy I did work it out. But I was definitely like, wow, he's announcing that Shen's pregnant with twins here live on Twitter.
No, if that was the case, it wouldn't be celebration. It would be, I think, maybe a gun
crisis.
Or something like that.
I've just checked. You got 5 likes out of it, James. So well worth.
Exactly.
Well worth
it.
Well, James, if the listeners want to go and see that tweet, then please visit JCA Farley on Twitter and give it a like. Let's see how many likes we can get that tweet. Go on, go onto his profile and give it a like. I want to see how many
you look at this,
respond to that.
Exactly. I've got 5 likes. If I have a look at the tweet, 691 impressions. So 691 people saw that and thought that's not worth even commenting on.
Mate, that's nothing. Do you remember, I've definitely mentioned this before. That Zelda video I did, the Breath of the Wild one, it was like a 3-second clip, and it did numbers, capital N numbers. Yeah. And it's like impressions, and it was like 17 million or something, and I got like 1 follower out of it.
Yeah, I know, yeah. There's fun ways, but okay, we're not going into Twitter etiquette. It just really annoys me when people put underneath it, I haven't got a SoundCloud, but I'm like, okay, all right, okay, yeah, all right. Full Nails Crew.
Just say the thing. It's not a joke anymore. Just say the thing you want to say. Yeah.
I'm trying to not get angry at how people use a social media platform. That's got to be my next thing, right? I've got to get away from that. If you're getting angry about that stuff, you just got to either get off of social media or drop it, I think. Yep. Full Nails Crew. Let's get to the Full Nails Crew. This month they are Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Richard Sawyer, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Gabby Pereira and Mad Hans Gruber. They're the crew you all want to be, yeah? They walk about and you're like, fuck, I wish I was that cool. I wish I was Full Nels. Well, you can be Full Nels. Go to patreon.com/TCGS and sign up at the top tier to become Full Nels. But if you can't, then there are other tiers there. You can get bonus shows, you can get videos and all sorts. So go check us out on patreon.com/TCGS. I can't tell you how much it helps us out, even to the point where my wife turns to me and says, can you please not podcast this week? And I go, well, Joe, you want that nice new top? I suggest you let me podcast. That's never happened. She would actually hit me. But please support us. It's really appreciated.
I kind of wish we did a thing where when you join Full Nelson, you also got a leather jacket with Full Nelson on the back. And then when it comes to EGX, they all wear them. And it's oh shit! Fuck.
How far would we go though? Like what type? Like would we make sequined backlight? Would it be Full Nelson sequins on the back?
I think it's sequins, and I think it's a T-shirt with the arms cut off.
But you wouldn't see it if they got a jacket on. What a wasted detail.
Well, no,
unless they wear that T-shirt over the jacket.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I'm thinking,
the jacket's got the arms cut off. I don't know. As long, I just can please someone cut the arms off a garment. That's all I want.
I think a jacket for res, which is often cold, and then a bit warmer for EGX, and then you get the T-shirt. Yeah, but I'll just one idea.
But the thing with res is if you do get unlucky with the weather, there's no hiding from it, is there?
You are getting pissed on.
Sean, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Would you wear cut-offs as in like short cut-offs? Because I'd imagine you would.
No, absolutely not.
Really?
I'm not really a shorts guy. It's only in extreme circumstances.
He needs to. Look, we know this about Sean. When he leaves the house, he needs to cover up as much skin as humanly possible as a necessity for medical reasons.
I hadn't thought of
genuine
that.
risk.
Do you know what I mean? That moonlight can really sting.
It can.
James, what's your definition of cut-offs?
Well, I'm just imagining like the scenario whereby, like, you know, he's got a pair of trousers, they're looking a bit tatty, and he's just thinking, don't want to put them to waste, and so just like cutting off.
Do you know, so when I was
it's not from the 1920s, James.
No, when I was a teenager, I think I had some jeans that the knees were just fucked, and I was like, yeah, do you know what? Just cut them off, use them as shorts for a bit, but then they're just not that comfortable as actual shorts.
They just feel weird. It's like these used to be trousers, but now they're not.
I never wear shorts either. I don't like shorts. I just think it's odd. I don't like them.
What do you mean don't like shorts?
I just don't like shorts. I never wear shorts either. I just don't like them.
You don't wear them at home?
When you go to the beach?
I still wear trousers.
Serious?
Do you play football in a suit?
The pool? Down the flumes?
James, you don't wear trousers and sandals, do you?
No, I don't do that, no.
I
still wear trainers. It's like,
James, we need to go into this a little bit, and I'm sorry, it's going to... Just be confident. It's your choices, so, you know, it will sound like we're taking the piss, but we're the ones that are empty inside, so you're confident with your decisions.
But we are wearing shorts in summer. I mean, what...
You're going to a swim park, right? A swim park.
Never would.
Swim park?
Swim park.
You go to a park where you can swim with flumes.
Swim park.
What are you wearing? What are you wearing in there?
A pair of jeans and a t-shirt, Dave. I'm not going to be. I'm not going in the water, am I? I'm not doing that.
Whoa!
What do you mean?
You don't swim, even if it's a park entirely for swimming.
You're not going down the flumes?
No. If I was going in there to swim, of course I'm going to be wearing like swimming trunks or something like that, right?
Trunks.
Right, there you go.
Whatever.
Trunks.
You know.
What, you mean Speedos?
Speedos.
No,
you'd be
I'm not a
Speedos.
Speedos person. No, that's never happening.
He's going from no shorts, but he will wear Speedos.
Yeah,
Speedos and a swimming cap.
If you're gonna wear shorts, then yeah, go all the way, mate.
Why don't you get one of those?
He's got his badges on him from this.
One of those like really old suits with the striped ones. The weightlifters wear. Rock around in one of those. I'd love that.
I'm thinking more Bugsy Malone.
Okay, all right. So you're going to the beach in Spain on a holiday. What are you wearing to the beach?
I'd probably still be wearing jeans at that point. I don't know. I mean, but no,
what if it's like 40 degrees?
Okay, you're
dying.
See, the trouble with this, right, is that I would never do that anyway. I would actively avoid. No, I actively avoid going on beach holidays. I hate beach holidays, so I wouldn't do it. I mean,
I really want to go.
I would go to Spain, but the reason I go there is for, going to see sites and museums and stuff like that. I don't care about the beach. I seriously don't.
How old are your kids?
What is the point? What is the point of just sitting there? You're just like, okay, let's just go and sit on a beach all day. It's like, what's the point?
It's nice. It's relaxing.
Yeah. It's not. I hate the heat.
It's better than walking around the fucking museum.
You see, I used to
be the same.
No, I'm saying I used to be the same. And then, we did Santorini for our anniversary, honeymoon. And it was fucking amazing. It's like, oh my God, I just fully switched my brain off for 9 days. And I don't think I've done that since.
No, of course you haven't. You've had kids.
James.
exactly.
But James, in the summer, over here, it gets incredibly hot. Like, what you're still
not
wearing?
really. It's not hot here in the summer.
It's definitely hot.
It's not.
It is.
Matt, listen,
People
I lived in
sunbathe.
Shanghai where it was 40 degrees. It's like, here is not hot by comparison. Seriously. It's like...
I just don't understand.
It's the humidity.
I'm wearing shorts all the time at home, and especially when it's hot.
Yeah, but Matt, you've got the body for it. I haven't.
I have not. But
Okay, I nearly threw up in my mouth. Should we get to the feedback of last week?
You've got the body for it,
Matt. You've got the body for it. God.
The body.
Do you know what, James? In my honest opinion, you got the body for it, mate. You wear those shorts with pride, yeah?
I ain't wearing shorts.
Let your Chelsea tattoo on your leg shine as you stroll about Canterbury.
Yeah, your tattoo of John Terry's face.
What I'm choosing to believe is that James doesn't wear shorts because he's actually got a full linen suit. That's why he doesn't need anything else when it's hot. That's all. Yes,
I got my linen suit. Get my linen suit out. Does it need ironing? Of course it fucking doesn't. It's linen. You put an iron on it, it fucking melt. Let's go.
Okay, Carl Tyus has emailed in.
Hello, lads. To start the show. Sorry, Matt. Odd, bizarre thing. Oh, I'll give this computer game show a listen for the first time. I've heard a few things about it. 20 minutes of talking about James in shorts. Okay, sorry.
Well, James not in shorts. More to
That's
the point.
A good point. Good
Carl
point.
Tyus, hi. Hello, lads. I just wanted to point out that it sounded like you had a new episode of Salad Fingers when we're talking about people invading the Anthem subreddit with all those weird voices. Maybe if James can't make it into a game, he should contact the creator of Salad Fingers and give himself a guest spot in a spin-off episode. If you haven't seen Salad Fingers, look it up on YouTube. It's a cultural classic. Thanks, Carl.
Salad Fingers was weird, wasn't it?
No,
that was like
it
was like an online cartoon, wasn't it? That
the early Flash days, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was of that era in terms of humour. This was, and we look back on it now and we snarl, but back when the Mighty Boosh was out and all that sort of stuff, everyone was like, wacky, bizarre, off-the-wall humour is the new thing. The problem is that lasted about a year before people got tired of it and started looking back and sticking their nose up and going, oh, what is it? Poking badgers with spoons, isn't it? But this Salad Fingers was like at the height of that era, where it was like, oh, I've got salad fingers and I like stroking spoons or whatever and all that sort of stuff. Go and look at it on YouTube.
It was David Firth, wasn't it? He had a bunch of different little shows on the go.
Who did, sorry?
David Firth, his name was.
I don't know anything behind it, to be honest with you. I just know it's Salad Fingers.
Because he did a couple of bits for, when Screen Wipe started being on actual telly and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He did a few bits for that. I think, It's like, as you say, it's just interesting. It was very much of the time, wasn't it?
It sounds quite tiresome. But
you wouldn't like it.
It's really easy to look back on now and say that stuff is lame. But at the time, what the popular...
Utterly pioneering for what it was.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, it's better than the 1970s and 60s comedy fads back then, which was just racism. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit
I'll
better
take
than
Salad
that.
Fingers, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Go on.
STK. I have a correction for a listener last week. S. Thomas wrote in last week and said that the new Smash character was a Fire Emblem character. It is, in fact, a Xenoblade Chronicles character, actually. Also, I'm in the Dr. Boomstick camp on the Yakuza series. It's one of my favourite game series of all time. While I'm writing this, it always pisses me off how Dave still thinks we live in the 90s or early 2000s whenever he brings up that PCs act like we still use MS-DOS and are hard to update.
Do I?
David?
Do I do that?
You mentioned like updating drivers and stuff,
Yeah, but do you not need to... You don't need to fuck about with drivers, I believe.
Anymore? Yeah, sometimes you have to do that.
It's done automatically now in the background.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry about mentioning the drivers.
I mean, PC gaming is still marginally more irritating.
I'm sure it's fine. My problem with PC gaming is on me, not PC gaming. Like, my problem is I'll be playing a game. I nearly had a meltdown trying to decide which of the 3 options of Spider-Man Miles Morales I was going to play. Right? Imagine if there was sliders involved. Fuck that. I'd literally play for 2 seconds.
It's better than that because No, in that game, it's like, do you want this without that, or kind of a mixture where both not quite as it should be? Whereas there's loads of options on PC where you can like choose the one that's work for you rather than just a one or two. But
you still got to make compromises somewhere, haven't you? Unless you've got a ridiculously
no, you haven't. Just like buy like $2,000 graphics card. But
that's not going to happen, is it? That's not going to happen.
Well, maybe you should grow up, David. Maybe you should buy a $2,000 graphics card.
Okay, yeah, sorry. You've really exposed me there, Matt.
Yeah, I really got you there. 1-0 to Matt. Alan Daniels, regarding Dad Brain, I was jogging through the woods while listening to last week's episode and Sean stopped me dead in my tracks. Do you remember meeting this guy in the woods, Sean?
Yeah, I'm always pouncing on joggers.
Pouncing. Okay. He was talking about Outriders and out of nowhere mentioned that he enjoyed the powers of the Trickster class because, and I quote, I've got one that teleports me behind enemies and gives me a massive armor boner. 2 hours and 19 seconds. The grace note on the whole sort of affair comes when he mentions giving enemies a big old swipe with the sword. It's probably just his dad brain speaking or my dad brain listening. Anyways, bravo on a consistently great work.
Wait, hold on. What's the counterpoint? I'm sorry. I missed. What is he saying?
There was a lot of innuendo, shall we say? With,
innuendo. Okay.
Was that intentional innuendo or just Sean being Sean?
I mean, no, because I didn't say armor boner. I said armor bonus.
Ah.
And swiping with my sword. Who? How's that? Who swipes with their
penis?
Genitals?
Me all the time. Yeah. I ran around the flat swiping the fuck out the walls.
Yeah. Oh, there's a vase on the shelf. Off he goes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's easy using your finger, isn't it? Should we move on? £6.
That's how I control my phone. Swiping left, swiping right. So next time I hand you my phone to look at video, just remember that. Oh yeah.
I don't know where that's. No, £6 games. Matt and Sega. I haven't pre-read this, so this.
This sounds good. Go on.
Only annoying member of the Matt Murray Appreciation Society who hasn't written in a while. The reason is that because we've been busy trying to open up chapters and territories where Sega is popular. We recently travelled to Brazil and met with potential business partners to tell them what an ambassador of Sega Matt has proven to be. Now, mere weeks after returning from the land of the still relevant Mega Drive, I find myself doing damage control after hearing the blunder on last week's show. Matt, what are you doing? How can you confuse a creator of Virtua Fighter with the maker of Balan Wonderworld? I fear this leader. Please keep stum on all matters Sega for the moment as I make like the Space Harrier dude and head back to Brazil in the hopes of preventing immunity. Or mutiny, but that makes more sense. My mate Barry was heading up that chapter. I do apologise, £6 and Barry, for that. Yeah, that was silly of me. That was just... I got the names mixed up, what can I say? Happened to all of us. No, it hasn't. Okay, cool. Chris Little. Hello, chaps. Love the show, and I have done ever since the beginning. Or in the beginning. Cheers. I haven't written in since the summer of 2018 when the listeners had to stage an intervention on David in order to curb his increasingly maniacal behaviour. He's been fine since. Congratulations. Anyway, last week, David stated that Die Hard Trilogy on the PlayStation had a beat-em-up component, and this was not true. It comprised a third-person shooter, a light gun shooter, and a crazy taxi-style race-against-time driving game. We all make mistakes. Love and appreciate y'all. From Chris.
Well, you're talking to making mistakes. You've made a mistake there, Chris Little, because I didn't say it was on the PlayStation. The only mistake I made was that I got the title of the Die Hard game wrong. It was on the Sega Saturn, is the one I was.
It was also on PlayStation as well, though. It was on both.
Yeah, but it wasn't Die Hard Trilogy. I'm talking about Die Hard Arcade was the game that I had in my mind, which was the beat 'em up game. But I've just Googled it. And what I'm going to do now, I just want your live reaction to the cover art and what I assume is they didn't get the rights for Bruce Willis for this.
I think I might have seen this before.
Have a look at the cover and have a look at how they represented Bruce Willis on the cover of this Die Hard game.
Oh my god. That looks like Quentin Tarantino.
It does,
it looks like another actor actually, but that's not Bruce Willis.
I mean, if you're going to say no to Sean's Quentin Tarantino, at least have the name of the person you're thinking in your head, Matt.
But no, it looks like someone else. Guys that's being everything, but
it looks a bit like Will Forte as well.
No.
Hang on. Where have you put this? Because I can't see this. Is this in some group that you got without me?
No, it's TCGS.
It's in the TCGS group.
Honestly, he's so paranoid, isn't he?
Paranoid.
Well, it's not on mine. I can't see it, so that's weird.
Maybe your internet hasn't downloaded it.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Weird.
It's one entire JPEG. Give it a couple of days.
It's not come through because I'm looking at it on the desktop and it's not come through, but it has on my phone. So there you go.
Well, there you go.
Jesus.
Great story.
Isn't life weird?
What's the deal with him?
It's a good picture, though. Yeah.
Okay,
it is
great.
a good picture.
Worth it, wasn't it? Was the so Die Hard Arcade? That was the one that I remember that I really enjoyed. So I got the name of the thing wrong. But thanks for your email, Chris. Is that it for the feedback, Matt?
He actually looks like the lead singer of Future Islands.
Oh, well.
He does.
Can't believe I didn't think of that.
No, but also that's not the one I was originally thinking of.
He does, Matt. Again. But he does, Matt. But I think Sean's reference was a little bit more widely known. So we shouldn't have just said no to Sean and then come up with that.
That just came to me there. The one I was thinking about, I still haven't got the guy's name. And I'm not even actually sure what I even Googled to find him because I don't know what he's been in apart from everything and I don't know his name.
So instead of saying no to Sean, just go, oh yeah, it looks like Quentin Tarantino. And then we don't need to worry about you trying to Google a name.
Do you know what's weird about it, though? I just had a look at the Japanese art for it. He looks much more like Bruce Willis in that. It's very strange.
Right, okay, let's move on. Is that it for the feedback?
That is it for feedback. If you want to leave us feedback.
That's all the feedback? You mean we didn't get a load of...
From the doc.
We didn't get a load of messages defending Palace fans from last week? Well, I'd like to say it's surprising, but it's not. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, if you want to leave us feedback, go to tcs.co/dear TCGS.
James Farley. It's news time. It's news time with James Farley. I can't fucking wait. Give me the news break.
Yeah, it's news. And there has been some news. This week, we had the whole thing with the Nintendo Switch Pro, which has been like rumbling on for, I don't know, it feels like years. But there seems to be some information now because Bloomberg have come out with some stuff about it.
They can't call it a Pro, can they? They can't call it. They can't get away with calling it a Pro.
It's not going to be called Pro, is it? You know, it's going to be called the new Nintendo Switch. You know they're going to do that.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. That's what they're going to call it. Yeah.
And people are going to be confused, and it's going to be ridiculous, and the whole thing.
It won't come with a charger.
Yeah, they probably. Yeah.
Yeah, it won't come with a dock. You got enough docks. Fuck off.
So apparently, it's going to have a 7-inch 720p OLED screen, which will then output at 4K when you connect it to a TV.
Me, 720p.
But I thought this.
What year is it?
It's like I don't think I actually care. It's just
nor do I.
But it's just if you're going to do a new one, it seems like a strange thing to not upgrade.
720p, come on.
From all the podcasts that I've listened to talking about this, they've all come to the same conclusion, which is that the reason they've done this is because this means the battery life will be incredibly long. And that's the main reason.
I think that's part of it. I also think that they don't have to do two separate handheld mode things. I mean, you could upscale to 1080p or whatever, but I think keeping it all at 720 across the board on their three machines, or obviously the old Switch would be discontinued, I reckon, but so you'd have the two machines that they don't have to worry about any of that. It's just 720p across the two of them. And I must admit, although it sounds bad, it definitely sounds bad, I've never played in handheld mode and thought this could really do with a resolution bump. Do you know what I mean?
Also, it's the OLED will make a huge difference as well. It will look a lot better with that than the LCD that they're currently using. So
and in terms of battery life as well, they're way more efficient, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
720p though, come on.
No, it's funny. I mean, we'll give our overall opinions at the end, but there is part of me that I'm disappointed, but also I kind of get it, and also I'm not sitting there using my Switch thinking, I want better graphics. Like, it's not what I use that system for.
Come on, 1080p. I'm not expecting 4K in handheld, but 1080 at least.
Do you reckon the difference between 720 and 1080 at that screen ratio is going to make a big difference?
But the thing is, if it does give like massively longer battery life, I'd take that trade-off as well. Because it would be great to have something which lasted for like a very long time, I think. Yeah,
but we'll never know what it could have been.
Yeah, no, you're right.
1080 could have also had decent battery life.
When I asked that question about the difference between 720 and 1080, I haven't got an opinion on that. I mean, I'd have to see them next to each other to see if it's really worth it. But yeah, I mean,
I've never like, you know, we've been saying for a while, like the gap between like smartphones has been closing for some time. I can't remember the last time I saw like a cheap smartphone with a much lower screen res and sort of went like, ugh, Jesus Christ, like.
Yeah, the other thing is, when was the last time you bought a new phone and went, oh my God, this screen looks so much better? It doesn't happen anymore, does it?
That's because even the cheap phones have really great screens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean...
But loads of them are like at most 1080p and it's not like there's like a world of difference between them and the fucking 2K ones or whatever.
I guess. I just read that and thought, fuck, come on. This is a Twitch Pro 720.
I think that's a fair reaction to have, definitely. I'm not defending Nintendo. I think that's definitely a fair reaction to have. I look at what I use that machine for, and I don't care. I mean,
also, so currently what 720, but if you dock it 1080, you know, there's a nice bump there, but it's not crazy. Going from
I'm not convinced. Like, if you look at like the Switch menus and stuff on a telly. Does that look like 1080p to you?
No, it doesn't.
No, it does not.
But then, honestly, I watched a DVD the other day, and I was like,
"How was that?"
Where'd you get a DVD player from?
We bought two recently, Matt. You bought two recently.
Oh yeah, I just didn't think about putting a DVD in them. I'm sure.
No, I know, but sometimes needs must. And and watching standard definition now is just like, how did we ever watch this? So
because I remember, like, obviously with the PS2 days, like educating people on the merits of having a proper RGB SCART cable, and people are like, "Oh my God, that's so much clearer and sharper," and I thought, "Oh my God, no, it's all
Dave, like,
all terrible."
I kind of am with you. You know, how can we ever survive? How can we live with this back in the day? But also, because of TV technologies now, like, it feels like lower resolution looks way worse because of how OLEDs
because how much bigger
LEDs
the screens are and how LEDs
it feels like standard definition feels way worse now than it did at the time because of how it's transmitted and broadcast.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
For sure. Right, continue.
So currently, right, Switch is 720p handheld, 1080 dock, so a nice bump, but not massive. This is going to go 720 handheld to 4K docked. Now, that's a massive jump.
No,
it's not though. It's being upscaled though, isn't it? It's
It'll
not
be
like
upscaled,
the games are not going to be like written so that they're in 4K. They'll just be 1080p, won't they? That'll just be upscaled to 4K.
It'll be 1080p.
Is this going to be similar
to 4K?
Smoothed out.
Yeah, is this going to be similar to that we've seen in the Series S?
That's how it works. We might as well work the Digital Foundry. It'll be 1080p upscale, but like smooth out the pixels and that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on. Yeah, the games aren't going to be running
at 4K. Imagine Digital Foundry just being like, you can't even tell the difference, mate. It's fast, brilliant.
Honestly, the OLED, right? It's just going to save the battery, but that screen size. Like the video playing out next to each other and shit. I can't tell the fucking difference. Mate, could you imagine if Digital Foundry just got my dad to do one video? Like, and it appeared on their main account or whatever.
Completely straight face.
Is the Xbox Series X version, and on the right is the Xbox One version, and looks the same to me. Looks the same to me. Are we done? You did this. Are we done yet? Yep. And then it'll be you did. Sorry. Okay, right, go on. I think I got carried away then. Sorry.
But yeah, the Series S it's like a dedicated bit of hardware, isn't it, that handles the upscaling, and apparently it's very good and efficient, and so maybe that's just a thing that more like lower end hardware is just going to have in it from now on. I don't know.
Yeah, my TV's got it. It upscales any 1080p input into 4K. I don't know how well that works, and it might just be bullshit, but apparently that's what my TV does. So I can't see them actually making this a 4K machine.
No, they won't
at all.
This is going to be such. It's not even going to be a half step. It's a no step. It's just
same minutes. Same minutes. Rubbish. Might have some more onboard storage. I reckon they'll do that.
It might do Bluetooth audio.
I'm almost certain it'll have Bluetooth audio. I'm almost certain it will.
They won't do that.
Why not?
They won't, because they just won't. This is Nintendo. This will be just the most minimal sort of effort that you can imagine into this.
I know, but that is a minimal effort way of putting a little buy the upgrade, because we all know that the current Switch can do it. But if they just activate it in the software and let you use Bluetooth headphones, then it makes it sound like they've done something.
No, they'll do something even more stupid. Like they'll release this, and it'll turn out they've removed the headphone port as well for some reason. But this,
yeah.
We've removed the headphone port and forgot
speakers
to add Bluetooth headphone capability.
It'll be something like that, or you have to do it through your mobile phone over Wi-Fi or something. I don't know.
It all the sounds through the app.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. I don't know. So what else did they announce for this? Or
was reported? There's no more detail, really. It's just that it's going to be...
it's clear here. I think this is the way I view it. I think they want the exact same console. They want to make a few moderations to try and prolong the life a little bit longer. And not even prolong the life, but prolong the current sales boost. They're well aware that people are buying more than one of these things per household, especially because they listen to this show and heard James go crazy this time last year. But I genuinely think that that they're not looking... I think they learned a lesson from the new 3DS, right? That actually investing in new hardware with higher specs ultimately wasn't worth doing. It wasn't worth doing.
Didn't they make that mistake twice, though?
Yeah, they did it with the DSi, didn't they? And then the new 3DS. And they always do.
I think the new 3DS was worse, though, right? Like, the new 3DS was originally there were going to be games that just come out for it, and there ended up being 2 of them. And you just think, when the cheaper machines were selling more than the new 3DS, it was like, well, why did they do all that? I think it was a bit of a waste of time, that. And they're just thinking, keep things simple, keep everything running on the same sort of, system, and then 2 years down the line, release a new, much more powerful Switch. I think that's what's going to happen.
So I think that there were some games that offered some performance or texture improvements on the new 3DS, but it's it's Nintendo. They're not going to do, with the Xbox, where it's like, oh, this has been enhanced for Series S and X. Nintendo aren't going to bother badging stuff if it's just enhancements. It's not. They're not going to want to confuse people.
No. So and it's selling really well. The console's selling really well. How can they keep up? I mean, I'll be honest with you. If it's priced right, I'd be interested in upgrading for a better, a larger screen and a better battery life and stuff like that, and hopefully a better way of putting in and taking out the fucking games in that machine.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. Also, a better kickstand as well, like a kickstand that isn't completely pointless.
Mine's gone. Mine's just gone. It's I don't know. Yeah, well, it's not even snap, is it? It sort of just fell off because it's so weakly on there, and it doesn't really work. And I think I took it off in the end because it wouldn't close anymore, so it was just flapping about when I was using it. There was some real shitty bits of that console, really shitty ways of doing things. Why did they need the cover over the fucking game cartridge?
Well, because of dust, isn't it?
Well, it's never been a problem with their other machines, has it? How many times have they brought out consoles with open games ports?
Well, no, but most aren't open. Most of them, they have a little flap where you push the cartridge
3DS had it, the Game Boy had it.
They're all open.
A Game Boy Advance had it. It was all open. It's just this one, they put that little rubber flap where if the plastic breaks, where the clip is, that's it. That little rubber flap is just flapping about like a dickhead. It's as much as I love that console, there's certain bits about it that I'm like, fuck this. But
well, this is it, isn't it? Like, obviously, the headline is like, it's got this screen, it's going to do 4K, whatever. But really, the things we would want to be fixed are all these weird little issues, aren't they?
Well,
that are
also
just kind of irritating.
The Joy-Cons, please,
the
Joy-Cons.
Fix the fucking Joy-Cons.
But, I read these reports and think there isn't going to be a Switch Pro. That was just wishful thinking from people in the industry and reporting it. And we were like, imagine that, like a powerful Switch and did all this stuff.
And the thing about that that's crazy is that this happens every time as well with Nintendo, every generation. Do you remember the Wii HD? I remember on One Up Yours, they were always going on about the Wii HD and how they'd heard it was coming. It's definitely coming. It's never coming. It's just
never came. It's called the Wii U, mate.
I will say this though: if there's one company that should keep to the generation idea, you know what I mean? That new generation, it's Nintendo, isn't it? They wipe it clean, new gen. Hopefully, I mean, I can't see them like in 2 or 3 years' time when they release their next gen console, right? It's not going to have the backwards compatibility stuff that we've got used to with the PS5 and Series X. No chance. No chance.
That's also because they kind of have to do it because their business model for the games is basically just remaking the games every time. And so
stick the ROMs on a disc, 50 quid.
It really is. Look, I take the piss out of Nintendo. I love their stuff and I love what they do. I think... I'm disappointed that we're not getting new fancy hardware by the sounds of it. These only based on these reports, very believable reports. But you know what? I kind of get it. I never use that system and think it really needs some more power. I think there's still some life in it. There's still some games that can come out with it that will be great. So just crack on as they are for a bit and then see what happens in a couple of years' time. I'm not going to rush out and buy this new machine until this one packs up. You know, there's no point in getting a new one now.
Would it not get to the point where you'd maybe... I know, because Harry's already got his own light, hasn't he? So
got his own... No, he hasn't. No. Nah.
Oh, is he not? Sorry if I made that up. Sorry, I thought you'd got him a Switch light.
Do you know what? I found it really okay. Like, maybe it's because he's only 5. But I found it totally fine sharing my consoles.
He's 6 now.
Oh, he's 6, yeah. Oh, fucking hell, that is the most James Farley thing I've ever done.
It's easily done. Done.
But like, I've had no problems sharing my consoles with him.
Actually,
like,
no, he's 7.
No, fair enough.
He's 7?
He's 7, isn't he?
I was just thinking, like, there's no way Harry was only 3 when Isaac was born.
Yeah. He is 7.
Yeah, 7. So anyway, now that we've established Harry's
I've been
age,
on 3 hours sleep for the past 3 nights. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. But yeah, sharing consoles with him has been fine so far. I think it's not until he gets to about 12, 13 that it'll be a real fucking issue. Where it's going to be like he's going to want to play Fortnite all day or some shit. I can't. That's when we're going to have to look into getting his own thing.
I was just thinking, like, when the new one, if this new one comes out, would there not be part of you thinking, but it might be nice to just give Harry the old one? But I guess if you think it's still too soon.
No, I don't know. No, because he'll want the new one. So it would be
Dave,
just share it or whatever.
Has he got into Minecraft at all yet?
No. He's tried it a couple of times. He didn't like it. Well, he liked it, but he just got a bit bored.
Because that's the thing that, like, for my kids, that's the thing that's, like, really has been... That's all they play now, pretty much, is they just play that constantly with all their friends. Like, they just play all together, like, all the time. A couple of them have got, like... I mean, my kids haven't, but a couple of other kids have got, like, Realm servers, and they're just playing on those, like, all the time. But unfortunately, the Switch version of Minecraft is awful. Like, it's... Since the Bedrock
really
version came out...
Isn't it?
It's not that. It's the fact that it takes forever to load now. It badly needs to be patched. It's a big mess. Today I spent time like wiping Rachel's Switch so that I could try and see if I could figure out what was wrong with it. And it's not her Switch or anything like that. It's just the game is broken at the moment. It seems
that's what's so mad is the fact that you can go out and get a Series S for cheaper than a Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If they're playing Minecraft or whatever, just get a Series S for them and they're away. You know what I mean? It's nuts.
All their worlds are all on the Switch already. You know, they've spent ages on all that stuff.
I also just realised that after I said it won't be till he's in his teenage years that we'd need to worry about splitting consoles up, I know that John's probably already texted me to say how much of an idiot I am, hoping that it's until they're teenagers, because I know right now that
like 2 years.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. When he's 7. Fuck, man, that's weird. That I'm not with it today. I'm not with it. Right, okay, so that's that news story, isn't it?
Yep, that's about what we've got for that. Then there's also other stuff. There was a PlayStation VR Spotlight event, which I think everyone seemed to not realise happened.
I had no idea this happened. Yeah. And then when you told me, when did this happen?
Last week. Friday last week?
Yeah, there you go.
Friday last week, right. So I went to the PlayStation YouTube channel and I scrolled down to try and find it. Couldn't find anything.
It was last Wednesday. But
weird.
I remember seeing loads of tweets and stuff about it.
I didn't see any tweets about it. I didn't see anyone talking about it. And there was nothing on their YouTube channel. This was bizarre. Like, it was as if it didn't happen and you were winding me up. But, okay, fine. They had a PSVR showcase thing, did they?
Yeah, I mean, they showed off a couple of games. There's Doom 3 VR edition is coming, which looks like Doom 3 in VR. And then there was
Doom 3 was the one on the 360, right?
Yeah, it would come out on that.
That was the one with the idea was the flashlight. You were holding the flashlight. It wasn't very good, but people were trying to convince themselves it was good. That's right.
No, it was good. It's just that it was a different kind of game. It was not really like Doom in the style of like Doom 2016 or anything like that. It was
a flashlight one.
It was more like a horror game.
Flashlight.
Yeah, it was the flashlight one.
Yeah. It was the flashlight one. Yeah,
it's the flashlight one.
Okay. Then we had there's another game called Fract, which they showed off. Which, I mean, do you want me to read what it says here? It says,
hold on, they've shown this before, haven't they? Was Fract the one they've shown before?
Oh no, I've not seen it before.
All right, go on, carry on.
So it says, this is from Eurogamer, obviously. Set in a mountain fracking facility overrun by armed interdimensional creatures intent on destroying the world. It has fast-paced, one-to-one run-cover gunplay, mixed with skiing, climbing, base jumping, and zip-lining. Yeah, so there you go.
Ironic that some creatures intent on destroying the world would try and stop a fracking facility.
No politics, Sean.
But it looked quite good. Like, I watched the trailer. It looked pretty good. Look nice, I guess. Yeah,
right.
Fine. Yeah, then there was another one called Zenith, which is an expansive JRPG-inspired MMO, which I thought looked really boring when I saw the trailer. I was going to say,
no one wants this in VR, do they?
No.
Well, I
haven't seen it, but that's been my one revelation with VR over the last few years is, when PSVR started and everyone's like, but it's all just like these like cool little experiences that are like an hour, 90 minutes. It's like, and now it's like, yes, that's all I want. I don't want anything.
I don't know. Because obviously I got heavily into PokerStars VR, and the social side of VR can be extremely good. Like it can be extremely good. Mm. It's just that the games need to be simple to play. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that you're not all rushing about all over the place. I can't imagine running around doing spells and shit. But
exactly, and I can't imagine
Half-Life Alex.
Yeah, until I try it, I can't judge. Like, I've got it could be fun. So we'll see. I know a lot of people got into that mini golf game because that is a social game. On the Quest, I haven't tried it yet, but so it could surprise you, but you don't hold out much hope. You wonder an MMO. You do wonder how many people are logging in to play that on PSVR. Doesn't an MMO need like a big user base?
Do you know we never played? Sorry, Sean.
I was going to say maybe it's playable without VR as well. I don't know, but
maybe.
It's a shame that we never played Everybody's Golf VR, as a group, because we could have done that. Well, without David, obviously.
That's true, we didn't, and it was good.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Yeah,
you say it was good, wasn't it? That the one with all the creepy scenes where you sat next to your caddy and
that's the one.
Yes. They were weird.
That's one that Matt had a problem with. He was kind of freaked out by.
That's right. Everyone found it creepy except for James, who was like, "There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It was great. It's great.
It's absolutely fine.
I'm just eating some chocolate on the bench. That's fine.
You won't wear shorts, James, but you will be completely naked from the waist down playing PSVR. So you know what I mean? Bit weird.
Speedos.
Who's the weird one? Come on.
Then we had After the Fall, which is apparently a co-op action FPS. But the trouble was that, I mean, what they showed was it was just a cinematic trailer, so I have no idea what this actually is. I mean, brilliant. Matt, didn't you say you
should call it Winter?
It's called Arizona Sunshine Devs.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
You got beef with them?
That's
rivals.
No, obviously, Arizona Sunshine sold incredibly well. Good luck to them.
Oh, God, that sounds like definite beef. Anger. Furious. They had quite some success with their little game.
Well done.
Okay.
Then we had I Expect You to Die 2, The Spy and the Liar.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first one. It's kind of like puzzle. It's basically kind of little puzzle rooms, but you might be in a car. It's like spy. Like, do you must play it?
Little
James?
puzzle rooms, but you might be in a car. And then you move
so like you're in a car trying to escape the car.
That's a normal thing to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always liked the sound of this. I don't know why I've not played it. I should probably get on it.
The first one's
Quest as well, isn't it?
I've been out on PSVR for so long. I'm sure it is on other platforms now. But the first one was good.
Okay. Then we had Song in the Smoke, which was.
I'll be honest with you, Sean. I'm starting to realise why we didn't hear about this PSVR event, because this seems to be a lot of say a title and everyone shrugs. I think that's the
that's the problem, because this is like a survival game where you have to like craft weapons and all that sort of stuff. It's just that sort of stuff, isn't it? It's another one of those. Yeah. But there you go.
That's probably really unfair. It might be really good. But
yeah,
I know
I'm sure
mean.
it is.
In terms of what we know at this point, there's nothing. Yeah, not a huge amount to be said.
I think we all agree that VR gaming's dead now, right? We can all agree that. All four of us can agree that VR gaming is essentially dead now. Everyone agreed?
Agree on that.
If you agree, okay.
Say nothing.
Should we move on?
Yeah.
James.
So Epic have bought Tonic Games Group. That's the other thing that's happened this week. So yeah, they bought them.
And what do they do?
Are you going to explain who they are, James?
Okay, so obviously this is the Fall Guys people. Do you want to hear what Epic said about this?
They're called what? Tonic Games Group?
Yeah, it's the Tonic Games Group. Yeah,
because I knew them as Mediatonic, but I guess
Mediatonic. Yeah. But their official name is Tonic Games Group.
No,
that must be the parent company.
Mediatonic.
That's okay. So the Tonic Games Group includes a publishing label as well.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm with you. So it's parent company type thing. Yeah. Okay, sure. This was. So obviously, I'm the biggest fan of Fall Guys out of the four of us for sure. I can't wrap around, like, I've never been able to get over seeing the people high up in that studio being interviewed. Like when the game blew up, this sounds weird, but they all look so young, and I just thought, I'm looking at very rich people overnight at a very young age now, because that blew up something crazy, right? And then to hear that they were bought by Epic, I just look at them now and I think they just... Can you imagine the success? When they were making that game, they were probably thinking, I really hope this does well. I really hope we get a good player base and that we get rolling. And then the nerves about what's going to happen after it releases and whether it's going to be a success or not. They can't, in their wildest of dreams, imagine that after, 6 months, 8 months, they'd be bought out by Epic. Like, it's nuts. And... instantly, I know a lot of people would have seen that and gone, it's a shame. Epic have bought another thing. But really, I just kind of think, okay, well, they haven't fucked up Rocket League.
Not in my opinion. Not worried about the game. It's, there is a bit of me that has that twinge of like, it was like a cool independent UK company who created something amazing, and now it's been swallowed up. But maybe it's not like that at all. I have no idea. I hope they get to keep making other stuff. I hope they've not just been bought as the Fall Guys studio.
That's the concern, isn't it? That's the concern. Will they be allowed to go and make their next thing? I probably not. If I'm being honest, I mean, who knows? We don't really know, but I'd be very surprised if a completely different game come out of them rather than a Fall Guys 2. But I said the one good news is that we know that this is coming to Switch and it's coming to Xbox in the summer. I'm pretty convinced now it'd be free to play. That seems to be what they do. It makes so much sense for that to happen as well.
Because because with Rocket League, did that go free to play before they bought it?
No, I think it was. I could be talking out my arse here, but I think it was after they were bought out that it went fully free to play. Yeah,
right.
Okay. And probably the right thing to do because it gives that game a boost. Go on.
So Epic said it's no secret that Epic is invested in building the metaverse, and Tonic Games shares this goal. Then it says, as Epic works to build this virtual future, we need great creative talent who know how to build powerful games, content, and experiences.
All right.
And then Tonic Games CEO...
Sorry, it's just the way they worded all that. It just...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Doesn't that make you just go, shut up? Go on.
So, Tonic Games' CEO, Dave Bailey, says, with Epic, we feel we have found a home that was made for us. They share our mission to build and support games that have a positive impact, empower others, and stand the test of time. And we couldn't be more excited to be joining forces with their team. So, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, as I say, my first instinct is, oh man, a game I love's been bought by Epic, but then that happened with Rocket League, and I'm still playing that on the reg.
Okay. Cool. Last story is that the PlayStation Store is dropping films and TV shows. So
what?
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to buy all the seasons of Game of Thrones.
There's literally nowhere to buy and watch TV shows.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
That's absolutely terrible.
Even if that was the case,
where are we going to watch Breaking Bad?
Even if that was the case,
or Friends,
Matt, it still wouldn't be an issue, would it? It's too much now. Yeah. Okay, well done. Well done, PlayStation.
There must be some people who are irritated by this, right?
Probably.
Some people who use it.
Yeah, definitely. People
way.
Yes, well, really? People who just have a PlayStation, didn't buy Apple TV and other stuff. They're like, I'm just going to buy all my movies on PlayStation. Like
those people don't exist. They don't exist.
There will definitely.
I mean Sony were making like a big play to try and be the place where you got everything, because they had their own music service. They had PlayStation View. They had all that sort of stuff. But now they've kind of got rid of all of it. It's all gone.
Yeah, they sort of announced that when they showed off their media remote that they released with the PS5, and it had Spotify button, a Netflix button, a fucking Disney Plus button, and all that shit on it.
It does piss me off. Like I now really like the Xbox One interface. However, going to the store and having to navigate around music, and I don't think this music is. It's just TV and film.
Yeah, I think
that's
fair.
Get it off. I don't ever want this. Remove it.
You're right. You're right in that regard. Absolutely. They need to stop. But I think they'll get there eventually. But I'm sort of increasingly firming up my opinion that I really like the Xbox OS after using the PS5 one recently. It's sort of drumming that home. Do I bring it up? I think I bring it up. I've not heard you complain about the PS5 OS that much, James.
What do you want me to say? Come on, Dave. We talked about it for weeks and weeks.
No,
we've talked about it loads about all the things we didn't like about it.
There's one aspect that I'm really surprised you haven't mentioned.
Go on.
There's a bigger advert when you load up the PS5 than there ever has been on an Xbox console.
Where?
How has that not become a discussion of conversation?
What advert?
You turn it up, right? You know when you turn it on?
You turn it up.
Sorry. You know when you turn it on and it shows the cards, right? As soon as you load up the machine. No. If you're booting it from rest mode or whatever.
No, because I boot it from whenever I boot it up, because I've got multiple users on there, so the first thing it shows is which user I'm going to be. That's
right. And if you press the button, it takes you to the cards. The first card it shows you is almost, I would say it's 1.5 size of the other cards.
It doesn't do that.
And it's an advert.
It doesn't do that. It doesn't take you to the card straight away.
Okay. All right. I'll send you a picture of what loads up when you turn the PS5 on. And for me, it was a massive Fortnite advert. And I thought, how has James not kicked off about this?
Because it doesn't do that. It just takes me to the home screen.
Okay, right, it does that. It does that, I'm telling you, because it does it to me. Every time I load it up, I see an advert now, and I'm like, wow, I mean, I don't care, but I'm surprised you haven't
No, I absolutely would have said something if that was happening on mine, and I can't tell you now, for obvious reasons. But
yeah, we'll get to that. All right, okay, fine. Cool.
So that's it. That's the end of the news, pretty much. So there you go.
Nice.
Done.
Wow. We're screaming through this episode, screaming through it, and I'll regret saying that in 2 hours' time. Should we get to what you've been playing then?
Aye.
Let's.
Sean, you kick us off this week.
I got a couple of weird ones. Well, I mean, they're not really. It's just, I just like both of these sort of appeared this week, and I know we've been saying there's fuck all coming out lately, but one of these games is new to the Switch. It's not actually new, but whatever. Right, the first one is Monster Jam Steel Titans 2, which is I decided to check this out because Isaac's well into his cars and monster trucks specifically, and we've been watching a lot of the Monster Jam stuff on YouTube. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Monster Jam, yeah.
It's quite big.
I'm going to have to
America.
Google this. I know Monster Jam. Why do I know Monster Jam?
Well, because it's one of those that I'd seen like the logo on toys and some games and stuff, and I just thought it was made up. But no, it's a very real like series of events in over in America, and it seemed to be quite a big deal, right? There's like these pretty big events, and as I say, there's like really. I think it's all televised, and there's like loads of YouTube videos about it and stuff. And I think
it must have been in a Simpsons episode, Monster Jam.
Oh, maybe.
I'm almost certain of it. Yeah. Okay.
And so I think it's a pretty big deal, and all the cars have trucks, I should say. They're all like weird, almost like they're almost sort of cartoonish, right? So there's a megalodon one which looks like a shark, and there's a triceratops one, and there's like. And there's just like loads of really stupid, like loads of animal themed ones. There's like some weird, there's like a set of like weird sort of military ones. There's like spooky horror. There's one that looks like a zombie. It's got these two flapping arms around the front, stuff like that. It's knowingly quite stupid. So this is the latest officially licensed Monster Jam game. And I kind of just went in thinking like this will be fun to play with Isaac, right? If nothing else. So there's like events that you do in the stadium. So there's like races and, events where you're doing stunts or just trashing stuff like portaloos or wooden crates or whatever. And then there's these like open world sections. So you start off in the open world bit, and then there'll be like a point where you can sort of get missions, or you can just go exploring. And then, when you go to do those events, sometimes they're in the stadium, and then sometimes they're in the open world areas. It doesn't look amazing. You can tell there's obviously been like budget constraints, and there's like typos in some of the menus and stuff like that.
That's some budget constraints. That's just bad, isn't it?
It's just someone not pressing F7, isn't it?
Someone not seeing a little red squiggly line underneath, or clicking the options and just going, "Oh, it's not the one I want. Fuck it."
No, it's fine. But do you know what? I've been having good fun with it. It's been like the handling is very silly, but it's surprisingly nuanced, right? So the cars bounce around a lot, which you'd sort of want them to, especially with, like when you're doing the stunt events and stuff. Like it's really like the amount of air you can get is like a bit ludicrous compared to what's possible in real life. But it works, and it's got the thing of like if your truck falls on its side, you can start like spinning the wheels and turning them so that you start like basically like spinning round and round and round on the floor, and then you can use the momentum to like swing yourself back upright again. So like that might be like in a stunt event, that might be a choice you have to make. Like if you're mid combo and you end up falling over, it's like, well, I can try and they call it a power out. I can try and power out of this, or just hit the reset button and lose my combo, but maybe take longer, try and do the power out or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's fun trying to figure out if you can do it based off where you've fallen, what the terrain's like, et cetera, et cetera. And the other quirk is, so the left stick turns your front tires left and right, and the right stick turns your back ones left and right. So for the most part, you can just steer with the left stick, but then once you start getting into drifts or navigating weird terrain or whatever, you're doing the right stick as well. And it's
you just
really
hold
good.
The left one left and the right one right, and it just spins around.
It's weird. They've done it so that if you pull them like both to the right, for example, that would then put you into like a donut. So it looks weird because then you're turning the right stick right, but then the wheels are turning left because that makes you go right. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's odd. But yeah, and then you sort of you trying that out, like doing donuts and power outs and stuff, and then in the stunt events. But then also when you're doing races, you weirdly just sort of get used to the idea of like mostly steering with the left, but then using that right stick for a bit of extra kick occasionally, or going into drifts or whatever on corners, and it feels really good. And yeah, it's just been good fun. It's like I think it's like 20 quid, and as I say,
hell. I wasn't expecting it to be 20 quid. I thought it was about $5 or something.
Oh, okay.
Just the way you've been describing it. Is it because the way you talk about this just reminds me of Crayola Scoot? Because you remember when I was playing a lot of Crayola Scoot?
Well, I mean, it's interesting
mainly
to say
because
that, I think it is
a bit
definitely
shit,
aimed
but the
at...
kid liked it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was like that.
I think it is definitely aimed at younger players because the tutorial is literally like, here's how you go forwards, here's how you turn.
Yeah, but
ask Mummy and Daddy if you want to buy a microtransaction.
That's true. Rocket League does that. That's one bad thing about Epic taking over Rocket League. I'd played it for 200 hours. I booted it up, and it gives you a tutorial as if you were playing it for the first time, and it was like, to go, hold the right trigger. To jump, press A. And I'm like, you having a fucking laugh? You see my saves? Go on.
But yeah, and like, as you're going through it, you're unlocking new trucks all the time. I mean, they've got different stats. I couldn't really tell any difference between them. But that's fine because Isaac changes which truck he wants me to use every 2 minutes, so fine. And yeah, like they're all really weird and stupid. There's an ice cream truck and a one that looks like a school bus and a triceratops, and there's a whole selection of dogs. There's loads of dog ones for some reason. And there's
People
a whole
love
area of one of the maps.
People
it's
like
just an
them,
entire.
Simon.
Oh, sorry?
People like them, Simon. They love dogs. Everyone loves a dog. That's why.
I love them.
And
Cheers, Pat.
and then so there's different areas, like the open world. As you sort of progress through that, there's different areas dedicated to like different groups of these like trucks and stuff. So yeah, there's a whole dog area, and that's where you unlock all the dog trucks. And now I've gone through to this one where you get like the military style trucks, but they've basically, it looks like something out of fucking Halo. It's all like all massive like futuristic buildings and stuff, and it's bizarre. So it's just kind of cool, really. Like I don't think it's the best monster truck game out there. Well, maybe, just because I knew Isaac could be into it, and I thought it'd be good fun for us to play it together, and it absolutely has been, to be fair.
Cool.
And it's like it knows it's a bit silly, and it doesn't really mind. I gather there are better monster truck games out there, but it's not, it's not a genre I've gotten into. But yeah, this has been perfectly good fun. I've had a nice time with it.
Cool.
The other game I've been playing is Astrologaster. So this was out on PC a couple of years ago, I think, but it's just come to the Switch.
Standard.
It looks really
it's one of those.
interesting.
It's proper good. It's so this is a game where you play as a guy called Simon Foreman, who was a famous astrologer and supposed doctor. He had a spot of good luck curing people of the plague when it was doing the rounds in the 1500s, and then set himself up as a doctor.
Spot of good luck.
He basically, he knew, like, I think basically he'd had some training in like herbal medicines, and then started combining that with astrology. So he sort of came up with a yeah, exactly,
as you do,
as you do. Came up with a cure for the plague that worked a bit, and therefore went, right, and now I'm a proper doctor, and I don't need any papers, and it's fine.
It's all because it's all in the stars.
It's all in the stars. Dave, I should point out, this is true. This is historical
fact. It sounds like an episode of Saved by the Bell, where they come up with like a cure for like the big problem, and then they forgot what it was, so they spend the rest of the episode trying to work out what they did to hilarious results, like in the science class. And just Screech's hair at some point would be standing on end. Like, you know what I mean?
On fire.
Yeah, for sure. I just Mr. Building. What a weird story.
Rest in peace.
What, Saved by the Bell?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, and so basically you play as him, and it's all presented in this really nice sort of pop-up book style, like really beautiful illustrations and stuff. And yeah, so you play as him. He set up his little medical practice, and people come to you with their ailments, and it can be anything from like, it burns when I pee to what's going on with my marriage? Is my husband being faithful or whatever? So people come to you with medical ailments and also just like, fortune telling bullshit basically, and sometimes a combination of the two. And whatever it is, you diagnose them by using like astrology. And so what's been really interesting is, so I've been playing this like with Nu because we've enjoyed doing it together, because it's all fully voice acted and really, really well written and really well acted. So it's been fun just to sort of watch it play out together and sort of occasionally make a decision, you know. But we've been going with all the obviously correct decisions, and sort of everything we're predicting is coming true. And I'm at this point where it's like, I really want to do another run of this and just tell everyone a load of absolute shit.
Hang on.
See how the game reacts. Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, would there be consequences for that? Like, are you going to get run out of town? Well, what's going to happen to you?
So, because you basically, the subplot to all this is that, actual doctors are a bit pissed off that you're running a medical practice with no actual qualifications. And it's like, and it's sort of, it's implied that, you're going to get, that there are going to be consequences for this, and basically,
so you're basically
the agreement...
just a fake doctor. You're going around calling yourself a doctor when really you got no right to be. James, you interested in this? You say you like the idea of this? Relatable, is it?
Too close to the bone.
Back to you, Sean. I got what I wanted out of that. Go
on. And it's just been good fun. It's genuinely quite funny. It's just a really interesting premise. And so the goal is basically you want to you need like 8 of your patients to like you enough to write you a letter of recommendation, at which point apparently you can get a proper doctor's license.
There you go.
But also, you can just make really stupid, funny decisions that piss people off, and see what happens. So it's one of the few games where I'm like, I want to do this again and make loads of bad decisions on purpose, because I normally don't do that in RPGs and stuff. I don't usually have the appetite for it. Whereas this is going to be funny as fuck, and it'll be interesting to see if it actually changes. Like, it's like, are you actually dictating what is the truth by what you say, or is it just that at the moment I've mostly been correct? Do you know what I mean? And it's all, repeat characters come back to you with different things, and they have sort of their own developing storylines, and then other people will come to you and it turns out they're reacting to a situation you've created by some of the things you've diagnosed other people with or whatever. And it's wonderful. It's been such good fun to play through it. Every time like there's a new chapter, a new character comes to you, they all have like a little like sung intro. It's like a choir sings their little intro, and they're just like, they're really beautifully composed. And it's, I absolutely love it. I would heartily recommend it. You don't do an awful lot, right? It's literally, there's a conversation with someone, it's quite funny or interesting, and then it's like, there'll be like 3 sort of star signs in the sky at the time, and it's like, right, we'll pick one, and then it'll sort of show you like, here's their relation, this like fucking planets in ascension or whatever. I don't know how astrology works. Don't really care. And it sort of tells you like, this is what you are saying is going to happen because this planet's here, this star's here, this or whatever. This is what you're going to diagnose them with, and this is why. So you're basically just picking from like a set number of those every time. But it's fine, and it's really entertaining, and I've had a really good time with it.
Yeah, I've finished this. This is for any Microsoft Rewards fans out there.
For God's sake.
This is one of those games you can actually play both on PC and Xbox. Easy 2,000 Gs right there.
Here's the question.
It's on Xbox as well?
Yeah, it was on. I don't know if it is on Game Pass anymore, but it was on Game Pass a while back. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Matt, do you remember anything about this game?
No, of course not.
Did you read any of the text, Matt?
No, of course not. Just reading guide. Just press A here, down, press A. Just did the whole thing in 45 minutes.
Unbelievable.
I'll go in 45. I think it's 45 minutes. It's a short one, yeah. But
so that, when Ryan wrote in and he was defending... Ryan wrote in and he was defending, this bizarre practice by saying, you might actually check out games that you wouldn't normally. It's really paid off, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, no, because that's when I was knee deep in trying to get 10,000 Gs in a week.
Sure, talking about all these wild mechanics and being interested to see what happens if you make different choices. Matt's just looking down at a sheet going A, up, A, down.
Like it's a combo in a fighting game, just
hearing.
I think I was doing something else at the time. I had that on a different screen, just like. It's second screen gaming. Thanks to the 2Gs, though. That's wonderful stuff.
Before we move on, Sean, are we all right, James? Are we all right? Was that a little bit too much?
Yeah, we're fine. Cool.
Okay, all right.
Sounds fine.
I've just had a look. So yeah, anyone who's curious, so this, it's on Game Pass on PC, but I don't think it's on console. Matt Murray played it 5 months ago, according to the app.
For 45 minutes.
Score, baby.
But yeah, it's just come to the Switch, and obviously Switch is a good place for it if you're out and about, because it is just a very light, sort of narrative game. But yeah,
I just spent 45 minutes just pressing A. How much do you get for that? You say 2,000 gamer score. What is that, like 40p?
I think that's like £2.
Fucking hell, though. How much are you earn in an hour? I mean, you don't have to answer. That's a rhetorical question. But
you sound like my mate Joe, who I used to work with, who said, Matt, it's now basically a part-time job. I was like, no, it's 2 minutes a day in the mornings.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't, though. It was 45 minutes, wasn't it? And Joe sounds like the correct person in your life right now.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was a useful corrective force.
Stop doing that. I was like, no, I'm just a couple of bits in the morning.
I've got time for
2 hours
Joe.
in the evening, done.
Yeah.
It's also weird that you mentioned a friend's name and didn't mention their surname. That's a bit of a weird turn for you, Matt. Yeah, that's just
true. Well, because Joe's like a friend from now rather than like someone from the school days where it's kind of funny to have a surname, isn't it?
All right, okay.
I'm not going to out a current friend. Then,
well, yeah, because he's still in touch, and you say, "Why the fuck have I got weirdos looking me up on Facebook?"
Exactly. Yeah, every week there's something. Where's Martin Day, Matt Morley, Grant Sargent, the man.
Grant Sargent. What a name! What a name! Grant Sargent. Okay, cool. Right. Is that it?
That is it.
Cool. I want to go to Matt because I've seen Matt has been playing a game called Loop Hero, and I've seen a lot of people talking about this, so I'm interested. I know nothing about it, Matt.
So
what is Loop Hero?
I have bought this because Matt was texting me about it.
All right, Sean, it's Matt's turn.
To play. I'm just saying.
Yeah, all right.
I'm excited to hear. I'm sharing your excitement, Dave.
You've had your bit. Go on, Matt.
Yeah, so Loop Hero, I had also seen lots of people talk about it, and I needed a game to talk about, and I haven't had much time. So I was like, why not? And also, I think it's down to like a tenner. It's normally £15, but it's like first week of launch, and it's done like amazingly well.
2,000 gamer score involved somewhere?
No, this is sadly there's no achievements. It's on Steam.
Okay.
If only. But yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about the history of this game, but I saw there's like reports saying this game is kind of blown up. It's sold like 150,000 units in a few days, and I was like, okay, well, I'm interested in that. But yeah, so it's from Devolver Games, and it's it's a
is there blood and guts in it? Is there?
Say what?
Is there dripping blood and monsters in it? Is there?
It's gothic with monsters, but it's also like pixel art and chiptune music.
Yeah, did you see the guts, do you?
You don't, it's all, you don't see guts, but it's a story-driven roguelite game, idle RPG with deck building and city building mechanics.
Oh shit! Okay.
That's the game.
Can I cut in with a serious question, Sean, that you might be able to answer? Because I'm not. Listen, I'm going to pop up, Matt. I need this telling to me.
Okay. I think I know the question you're going to ask.
I'm sure you do. Is it roguelike or roguelite, or are they both acceptable but different things?
Yeah, the latter. So basically, roguelite tends to be used more when it's so it's like sort of rogue-ish mechanics, but it's like a platformer or an action game, or sort of like, rather than it being like an RPG. If that makes sense.
Right, okay, so you're not necessarily upgrading your character, but you're repeating things over and over again.
Yeah, it's more about the randomness and the random element, right? Okay. Repetition and the that's.
And a roguelike is when it incorporates the RPG elements into that system.
Broadly speaking, yes, but as you say, that I think that people use them pretty interchangeably these days.
Right, okay, gotcha. Sorry, I need because I've heard it.
Can I just ask another question?
I had the same question, so I also googled it. I was like, what's the difference?
Sorry, was that the question you thought I was going to ask, Matt?
Yes, yeah.
Right, James, what was your question?
Okay, is this a card game involving decks?
What, like DJs?
Yeah, like Newmark are DJs. Like, no, yes, there are cards in this game, James.
Okay.
He's out. That's it. He's muting his mic. He's gone.
Duncan Bannatyne over there.
I'm
out.
Let me do. I am. I'm out.
The Matt's accents are the best. Go on.
That was a great Scottish accent. Right. Anyway, yeah. So, there is a story. I mean, I'm very early on. I already get the impression there's going to be lots of story. It's going to be. You're going to discover that as you play the game. But from what I gather at the moment, you play as the hero or whoever you are, and the world has gone to darkness. Something's happened to the world. You're trying to regain your memories of the world, and the world has been plunged into this endless loop, basically. And the game, as you see it, it's just you see this little tiny white pixel art character going around in a literal loop in this randomly generated loop environment. Basically, the world you walk around in is totally bare, apart from enemies that patrol this loop you go on, and basically as you go around and you see enemies and you have fights, every time you kill an enemy, you get given a card, and on those cards are different parts of the scenery. You can basically start to build the world around the loop. So it could be things like stones or mountains or forest or a vampire house or little things. And there's bonuses whereby if you put like a couple of mountains together with something else, that boosts your HP. If you put this thing next to that thing, there's a boost. If you so on and so forth. So every time you kill enemies and you get these cards, you're basically building the world around you, which I think is really nice, because at the start it's just like a very bare but kind of weirdly shaped path that you walk around. So the more you play, the more you're kind of developing the world and creating the world around you. In terms of enemies you see as you go around this loop, so because your player is automatically walking unless you click right click, in which case you switch from like adventure mode, where your person is just automatically walking around the environment, to planning mode, but I'll get to planning mode in a minute. But the fight's automatic, so you just go into a fight, can't do anything about it. That whether you win or lose is just based on the loot you get, and the loot you get from the previous battle. So you kill an enemy or have a fight with an enemy, and then loot will randomly drop, and that could be armor, it could be a ring, could be sword, whatever. And so every time you have a battle, you see what loot has been dropped, and you see if that's better or worse than your current setup. You add them to your current setup, and away you go. You keep going around, you have automatic battles, you kill the enemies or not. I mean, often you are, unless you're really low on health, you'll just keep killing them, keep upgrading your armor, so on and so forth. You also gain supplies as you go around. So again, as you're gaining cards which build the environment around you, you gain weapons to help you and loot to help you kill the next enemies. You also gain supplies, and those can be used when you leave the loop, and then you go to the campsite. And the campsite is a place where, a bit like the house in Hades, you can upgrade the campsite, and then by upgrading the campsite, you have other part. I mean, I barely started upgrading it, but I get the impression you can add things like other characters, and then they can basically help you and upgrade you. So when you go to the next run, you have more skills, more abilities, so on and so forth. So you automatically walk around when you're in adventure mode, but you can right click to go into planning mode, and that is when you can move your cards around. It's when you can upgrade your weapons and so on and so forth. So this is, I mean, some people call it an idle RPG. You can basically kind of have this on a different screen, I guess, while you're working, because you can just have it on pause a whole time, and then you right click to go into adventure mode, and you'll do you do some loops and stuff. So it's really kind of passive for most of the game. You can also, as I did, you can leave a loop at any time, but then when you leave the loop, all the resources you've got, you only get to take 60% of those resources back. Obviously, the more resources you take back, more upgrades you can do to your campsite, which unlocks more story, which gives you more benefits for the next run. There are also kind of day and night cycles, and different enemies appear depending on the time of day. And you can basically keep going for as long as your health lasts, really. And every time you kill an enemy, you might get a bit of a health bonus. So your maximum HP keeps going up. And every time you do like a loop, you go past like the first campfire that you start of every lap, and you get a bonus as well. So you get more health, but your health is gradually, the amount of health you have gradually goes down as you're fighting more and more enemies, basically. And but there is ultimately a way to get to a boss. I've never actually got to the boss. But there is like another bar that keeps like increasing, and then after so many loops, I haven't got to it. Like I said myself, once you get to a certain amount of loops, then there'll be a boss encounter. I don't know if that's the end of the game. I would assume not. I assume it's just like one of many bosses. But what I've been doing is when I get to a certain point where I'm like really on health, I don't want to die. I just like get the hell out of there and lose 40% of my resources, but at least haven't died. So I've done three larger sessions with like 13 or 14 loops per time, but I haven't died yet. I think if I die, I don't know if I lose all my resources or just a massive amount. But yeah, so I've been doing these loops, and what I get, what the compelling loop is: do I keep going and try and get further, and then try and get more resources, or do I just like get out now because I don't want to die and don't want to lose any? So there's a lot of like risk reward there.
Yeah.
And it's just really, really nice. I mean, like music, the chiptune music, which I'm not really into. I think I mentioned that even just a couple of episodes ago. It sounds
the same, right?
It does all sound the same, but this stuff sounds quite nice. Actually, it's quite toe tapping. And the gothic style, I'm not really genuine to gothic stuff, but it's really nicely animated. Just even though it's like feels like a lot of selection of browns and greens and greys and blacks, it feels like it's just like the visual style is really, really nice.
Really?
And
see, I'm looking at the screenshots and it looks horrific. It looks like an Amiga game.
Yeah, well, it's pixel. It's like an old pixel art style game. Yeah,
it looks like someone's been sick on the screen. I don't think it looks that nice.
It's not. But much like Hades,
from his voice is nuts. God.
But much like Hades, yeah, I'm also discovering lots of story stuff as I go around. So depending on the enemy and a certain enemy, you might meet a bit of story will appear, and you might meet a certain type of enemy, and they're all saying, we're going to kill you because we've got nothing else to live for on this world. And then you're saying, well, I'm just here because I'm trying to remember what the world was like. I get the impression it's kind of like you're trying to regain your memory, and that's going to ultimately save the world, maybe. I don't know. But so you're gaining stories you go around, and also, again, like Hades, when you go back to the campsite, you're also getting more story there because you're meeting new people, you're upgrading your campsite to bring new people in. And it's really... I mean, I've barely played it for like 2 hours, really, maximum, because I haven't had much time. But it's really compelling just to keep playing, just to keep going around and doing those loops to upgrade your armor. Because even a game like Destiny, where I like it because I'm constantly trying to increase my number, get a bigger, more powerful gun, bigger, more powerful armor and weapons. This is that, but it happens every like 10 seconds every time you come across a new enemy. And there are loads around the loop. You'll get new weapons. You're like, okay, is this new ring I've got? Is that better or worse than the old one? But it might be better in terms of defense or magic. But it's got this other stat. So depending on what kind of build maybe you're trying to create, there's loads of interesting stuff there. And also you have like a limited amount of weapons and armor you can grab. Maybe it's like a grid of like 18 or 20. And so you can like move the armor around in that little box, because once you've got like enough that basically the bottom few start dropping off, so you basically start losing armor. So you need to keep changing the order of the ones you got in your kind of inventory, so you don't lose the ones you really want.
What first-person shooter did that, where you had like a briefcase or something, and you could carry more stuff if you were just better at organising it? Was it Fallout? It wasn't Fallout, was it?
I mean, Resident Evil did that, where you had to like rearrange your inventory.
What was that? Which one? Resident Evil 4 did that. That's the game I'm thinking of. Sorry. Yeah. And did you say you'd played this, Sean?
No, I haven't. I've bought it, but I've not had a chance to have a go on it yet. And I'm well, as you guys know, I think did I tweet about it? I don't think I did. I was supposed to work today and I didn't, because we had no water, and therefore Isaac couldn't go to nursery. So this was something I was planning on having on like while I was working from home, because it sounds like it'd be cool just to have on while I'm working. So yeah, I'm hoping to get on that tomorrow. But
yeah, no, it's really good. And then the actual
have
deck
on while
building
you're working.
Yeah,
like a game.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's like Matt said. It sort of plays like an idle
window, and let it do its thing.
Okay.
And there is like a deck building part of it, because when you get these cards, which are environmental cards, you basically like, okay, I'll put all like the forest I'm building there, I'm building mountains over there, I put other little things here and there. That's basically about it. But then the more cards you gain, you have like a big old collection. So when you go and leave the adventure, go into the campsite and stuff, when you go back, you have like a limited amount you can bring back. So I think it might be 13 at the moment. So then I'm like, okay, which of the 13 cards I really want? It's like, which ones do I like? And yeah, so there is a bit of decisions there whether I want to like lose some of the ones which I don't really enjoy playing with, or ones I feel like those really benefit me. There's like somewhere you can basically lose some of the points where enemies are, so that's really useful. If those are bad enemies around a certain place, take that card, because then I know I can just like kill them basically in one shot. No, it's really, really good. I've heard loads of people talk about it, and some people playing it for like many, many, many hours. No, I'm loving it so far. And I haven't. I played Hades. I didn't quite finish it, but I loved what I played, and I feel like it feels like another one of those. And I'm really, really enjoying it so far.
Cool.
Yeah, I know for a fact, Sean, you absolutely love it. And I texted you yesterday because. I thought you just would have been playing this already. I saw like Joe Screbbles and other people playing it. I thought, okay, I bet Sean's also playing this, but I know for a fact you absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited.
Oh, that was Loop Hero.
Did the name throw you off at all, Matt? Because it did for me a bit. I just glanced at it it was on. I was doing one of my streams where I was playing like Steam demo stuff. About a month or so back, and I think I just glanced at it and was like, "Oh, is it like a Guitar Hero spin-off?"
Yeah, when I heard the name, I assumed it was that. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm glad it's decent.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to get back to it. That's what I'm playing. It's been another busy week. A little bit Mario, but still.
I'll be relatively brief. So obviously, I'm fully into the Rocket League scene again with entering tournaments and stuff. Season 3, I'm worried about next month because Season 3 starts 31st of March, and we're all intending to go full to like Rocket League. So I might be a bit boring during May, April. That and probably into May because we're all going to get the Rocket Pass and all that sort of stuff. But goddamn, that's a good game. I 100%ed Miles Morales. I finished that game off. I say 100% of it. I didn't get all the trophies and stuff, but I did everything you can do in one playthrough. And my word, Sean, when are you thinking about picking up a PS5?
Oh, not anytime soon.
Right, I think if there's a period of time this year where you don't really know what to play, then crack out the PS4 again and get this. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it looks great on PS5 and stuff like that, and obviously 60 frames looks incredible. Was it 30 on the PS4?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was, right. So, you know what, whatever. But you've got, I mean, the story is fantastic. The character is unbelievable. The stuff it does with music, and apart from the one mission, a set of side missions that's based around music, which is absolutely the worst part of the game. And it really is, but the worst payoff I've ever seen in a game as well. Like, so laughably bad. But other than that, I'm like, God, everything that game was even saying, like, I come out of it, I don't know Spider-Man, I don't know the history of Miles Morales in terms of the comic books or whatever. I'm only basing this off of the 2 Spider-Man games that I played. But I will say, it made Miles Morales as a character seem so important, and explained why he was so important by the end of that game that I had a lump in my throat towards the end of it. That's how invested I was to what they were saying and the stories and the characters and stuff. It just absolutely nailed it. And yeah, really, really good experience, that game. I'm so glad I played it. Thanks for the loan, James. In fact, I loved it so much that I think I'm just going to buy the full thing with with the remastered original version as well. Because I could just boot that up every now and then and just do a few side missions on the original game. I've just got a feeling that I'll be a bit pissed off as I'm running around as Peter Parker rather than Miles. But because I do prefer Miles, but I've no beef with Peter Parker at all. Yeah, but I guess you're right. I didn't play that original game hating Peter Parker. It's just when you play as Miles Morales, it's like, this is so much more interesting.
Yeah, I can see that.
But like, what is it? As I say, Miles Morales represents more than Peter Parker ever has. Like, what a bullshit thing to say. I've played 2 games. Ignore me. That I've even caught myself in a bullshit moment. Then
you are sort of right.
Yeah, but I know, but I shouldn't be. Because I'm basically, it's like, imagine being
lucky,
into Spider-Man and hearing me talk about Spider-Man like that. Fuck me, right? But no, I just loved everything about it. I really, really did, and I was gutted when it was over, and I can't wait to see what they do next. But I think that's going to be my next move.
For the next one.
Wait until the full package comes down in price a little bit, because it's like £70 at the moment, isn't it?
I've seen the whatever the ultimate edition, whatever, for like 45-50 quid.
God, please not get into another debate about whether or not something is £70. Because after last week, I don't think I can handle it.
Good point. But yeah, no, for £45, I think I'll jump on that. But wasn't there some DLC for the original Spider-Man game as well?
There was,
a few bits.
Is that included in the ultimate pack? Or
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the excuse I need to buy that then. I'll get that at some point. But yeah, the other game that I started this week, I'm about halfway through, is the Maquette, I believe it's pronounced.
Oh, Maquette. Yeah.
Which is the PS Plus game. Which
we just got Market.
Sean, Market. Sean was quite pissed off. I see on Twitter this week.
Certainly
about this
was.
Game. Do you want to explain?
So yeah, basically it's the same as the Bog Snacks deal, isn't it? So even though it is on the PS4 and PS5, it's only on PS Plus on the PS5, not the PS4 version.
It's the same as pretty much everything they've brought out for the PS5, right? On PS Plus. Because there was another game, there was that and also Control, the Ultimate Edition. That was...
Did they do it with that as well?
Yeah, I think that was PS5 only on PS Plus. Am I right with that?
Possibly.
I think the to be fair, I think the Ultimate Edition's only available on the PlayStation 5, isn't it?
Yeah,
because that's the one that adds all the ray tracing and shit.
Isn't it just all the DLC and stuff as well? I've no idea.
I think so.
But yeah, it's a thing they are doing, and I mean, when it was Bog Snacks, whatever. But I am quite annoyed about it now because ultimately, do you know? I get it. Like they want to give PS5 users something extra, but I don't know.
Well,
like,
I think it's done out of necessity. Then it is actually a marketing ploy.
Well, yes, because there's no actual exclusives, is there? Because obviously,
don't they? They've got nothing.
But like, if PS5 users were getting PS5 exclusives, that fine. Obviously, like I wouldn't kick off about that. But this did piss me off quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's more for the people that have bought it to keep them satisfied. Like, I'm getting this game for free, rather than going like. I could have just kept my PS4.
Yeah, I think if I wasn't, quite so on the internet as I am, like I would just load up the PlayStation Store and be like, oh, these are my PS Plus games for this month. That's fine. But because I've seen those people go, oh, you got to play Maquette. It's on PS Plus this month, and I've gone brilliant. And loaded it up, loaded the store up on my PS4, and to find out that it isn't at all. So I get it just feels like Sony not understanding how that conversation is going to take place with people. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
they're not realising it. But yeah, sorry. Talk about the game, anyways.
I think I can calm you down a bit.
Okay.
So yeah, if you don't know what this is a puzzle game in a similar vein to the style of, say, Portal or Superliminal, which is a game we spoke about last week. But it's very much a first-person puzzle game. The hook in this, these games always have a hook. You know what I mean? And the hook in this is that you're in an environment, and within that environment is a model of that environment. And anything you change in the model changes the environment that you're standing in real time. And you can do some clever things like take something out of the real world and put it into the model, so that makes it bigger in your current space. So it's like a level within a level within a level, if you know what I mean. The first thing you'll notice is that it runs like shit. I don't understand, but it does run really poorly. It frame drops and stuff.
Maybe just as well I can't play it on the PS4 then.
Yeah, well, I'd love to know if it's more of a... I don't know how it handled on the PS4, but I mean, I was absolutely really stunned by how badly it runs on the PS5. There's lots of stuttering and stuff like that. But you know what? I can overlook that stuff. Who cares, really? For a game like this, if this was an action game or whatever, fine. But I can deal with a few frame dropping moments. I mean, Superliminal had that issue. And it didn't really put me off how much I enjoyed that game. I'd say that the puzzles involved. So when you're thinking puzzles, you're thinking it plays with scale a lot. So there might be a bridge, a toy bridge or whatever in the world that you're currently in. But if you take that and then put that across two big spaces in the little model inside your world, and then walk out to where that place is in the real world, that bridge is there. That's the sort of the key example that they give you at the start of the game to get you used to. Actually, it's not about moving things around, it's also about changing the scale of things so that they work in whatever you're trying to do next. It has a story that I've seen a lot of people complaining about. Have you seen this, Sean?
I haven't, no.
So a lot of people are saying, I'm enjoying the market, but it's I could do without the twee story around it. And although I don't agree with that, I'll get to the story in a minute. I don't agree with that. I think I know why people are thinking like that. So the idea around this game is that it's about a relationship, right? So it talks you through a couple meeting, going on the first date, realising that they're falling in love and addressing that and talking about their relationship. And I can only assume, and I'm taking a wild leap here, that you're also going to see that relationship fall apart, because that's where it feels like it's going. I don't think that's a spoiler to say, because I don't know, but that's the feeling that I'm getting from playing halfway through. It delivers this story in three ways, really. It delivers it with music, like through music and setting the tone of what you're doing. It delivers it through text written in the space. So think Unfinished Swan, which is the game that instantly came to mind while I was playing this. So with Unfinished Swan, you'd walk around and text would be written on the environment, and you sort of read the story through that. But it also has cutscenes, which are like animated. You never see the characters themselves, but you see like they're talking about meeting in a cafe. So you'll see a cup being drawn, or like a sketch that they drew together or whatever. You see that all being drawn in real time in this cutscene. And those cutscenes have voiceovers with them. And I think where the whole irritation with the story comes from is two things. I think the voice acting is a bit weak, but more importantly, I think the writing is absolutely shocking. Like, the writing is terrible. It's a relationship that I watched the IGN review of this before I played it, and in the IGN review they were talking about relationship and saying, oh, it's so relatable. It ain't. It's not. It's not.
See, I don't want to butt in because I know you're like on a roll with this, but you see, I've played the first 15 to 20 minutes of this, and I really dislike these people. Like,
you see yeah, I hate them. I hate them, James. I hate them. Yeah. The way they talk to each other and act and interact.
It's just really irritating, isn't it?
It's taken from like the most pathetic romantic film you've ever seen in your life. It's all, like they meet. Oh, can I sit here? Yeah, of course. What are you doing? I'm drawing. Oh, sorry, I spilt my coffee over your sketch. And I'm like, fuck off. This is not the reality of relationships. And even when they're going through the process of dating and realize the scene where they tell each other they love each other is so fucking annoying and devoid of reality and any sense of real relationship that it made me angry. And I think it doesn't help that obviously we've been through lockdown together. No relationship should go through that stuff. And obviously you, as a couple that has been together for a long time, and even when you first meet, when you go through problems together, there's so much more complicated than this bullshit sort of sets out. You know what I mean? And I just think that heightened sense of relationship at the moment is on everyone's mind. It has to be, because, you know, it's such a wild situation that you're going through, that when you see something like this, you want to go, stop feeding this bullshit to people. You know what I mean? This is not what relationships are like.
And that was precisely the thing that really annoyed me at the beginning, was when they said something like, we didn't do like ordinary dates and stuff like that. We always did like wacky things like that together. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, and what did they do? They went to the fun fair. That's wacky.
You know, it's like we never stayed at home and watched TV and stuff. It's like, come on, it's just, I don't know, that rubbed me out the wrong way.
Like, do you know what? Yeah. We have to stay home and watch TV. Yeah. Fuck off. Can't do anything.
It's not like it's hard to explain. It's you know, it's fine for what it is, but it's not a reflection of a real relationship, and that's disappointing. Now, I'm saying this at halfway through, and all of this can be completely saved if it's handled correctly. Do you know what I mean? So if it flips that on its head at the later part of the game, if it flips the tone on its head and has a point to say, then great. Okay, then I'll shut up, and you know, it could turn out to be brilliant. What I'm saying is that halfway through, I'm sitting there and just going, I hate the characters, I hate the way they talk to each other, and I'm annoyed that they think that a bit of conjecture here, but I'm annoyed that they think that this is what a relationship is, because it's not. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just not. So we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. But more importantly, I think the whole relationship building and the way it's trying to deliver the narrative would be 10,000 times better if they just drop the cutscenes. If it was just the text and it was the music that's played, because it has some fascinating choices of music. Like that opening track they use is fucking fantastic and really works with the tone and the feel of the game and the visuals and everything. If they just kept with that and just, they didn't need to do we get it. It's about a relationship. We're reading the text. We can get our fill, and we can fill in the gaps, right? That works. But when they start putting the cutscenes in with the voice acting and everything, it completely falls apart for me and becomes actually quite irritating. So I think when I see criticisms about, I don't need a twee story stuck to it, that's bollocks, because a twee story is fine if it's done right. I think it's just that they maybe have to drum home a few things needlessly, and it's like, by the time those cutscenes haven't added anything for me that the text in the real world environment hasn't already implanted into my head. And I think that's when the irritation comes, where you're sitting there playing it just going, fuck these two, I don't care about them. As for the puzzles themselves, they're very they're not hitting the sweet spot for me, where they're difficult enough for me to really think, but easy enough for me to go, that's how it's done. I've had odd moments where I've tried to do something several times and it's not worked, so I just looked up the solution and it was what I was trying to do, and I was kind of like, okay, fine. The control system's a bit weird. You've got square to pick up, circle to put in front of you, but then that doesn't always work because there are limitations on when you can place stuff. Right. So it's not really intuitive of what you can and cannot do. And in an environmental puzzle game, that's dangerous. You need to be, Portal showed you that you need to be really clear with what you can and cannot do in a puzzle. Otherwise, you will be looking around a lot. And in this game, I've been looking around a lot. So, I mean, I'll finish it this week because apparently it's not that long, 2 to 3 hours. I'm about an hour and a half in, so I might as well see it through. But it falls a bit flat for me. I was surprised when you said you heard so many good things about it, Sean, to be honest with you.
It was all sort of caveated with, like, it is a bit wonky and it has problems. But I have seen a lot of people really enjoying this. But
it's not superliminal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Superliminal with me was just the way they did everything. I mean, it had some issues in terms of some of the puzzles were a bit weak. Some of the technical side of it was a bit under par, but ultimately it was just, the message behind it and the way it told you the narrative draped around it. Because that's the other thing, the narrative's going on, none of it's relating to what you're doing. Like it's so this. It's like you're talking about going on a first date, and you're also putting a massive key as a bridge over to a house, and you're like, no, this
isn't a metaphor. That's just
it's not intertwined. And there's a fun fair. Did you get to the fun fair bit, James?
I didn't know. I said I hadn't played hardly any time, but yeah.
There's like a fun fair, and you go in there, and there's like stalls everywhere. You can't do anything with anything. It's like a coconut. So, like, there was one of those, where you chuck the ball and there's loads of rings and you got to try and get it into the 50 points in the middle or whatever. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll pick up the ball and I'll chuck it in the middle. And you can't interact with any of that. It's the only thing you can interact with are the puzzle pieces, basically. And so it kind of feels like dead. You know what I mean? I'm hoping it goes in a new direction, and I hope it does something interesting with the narrative, because if they just break up, I'm going to be like, instead of going, oh my God, isn't it so beautiful how they, the frustrations of breaking up in a relationship, I'm going to be like, good. They don't neither of these people deserve each other, and neither of these people deserve anyone else. Live in your weird land where you're all in a fucking Sunday morning drama, and yeah. We'll see. Maybe I'm just angry at the moment. Maybe it's that, Sean.
No, well, as I say, given the current circumstances, I'm happy to be talked out of wanting this. So yeah, fuck it. Shit game.
I won't rush it. I mean, you might as well buy it on PSN on the PS5, and then just when you do eventually get it, you got a bunch of games.
Yeah,
are you doing that?
I can claim it on the website. I haven't been. I probably should.
You just do that. Because then you just get, this is going to happen more and more. Yeah. That's me for this week.
Hang on, James, you played Perfect Dark Zero. I was hoping I'd hear about this.
Oh, God.
I haven't watched the stream yet, but
I've not had a chance. I'm excited, though.
Weird game that is. I mean, there's not much to say other than the worst thing about it. The one thing, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to play it again this week, but then I think I probably will. The worst thing about it is that I didn't realise how bad it was to control. Like, I don't know if it's a delay, like a delay to the, like, from the controls to the game. That's what it initially felt like. But I think really it's just a massive dead zone in the middle of the sticks.
Yeah, because I said to you, my abiding memory of this game is spending ages in the settings trying to make it feel like nice to control, and it never does. Yeah, it's really
dreadful. Annoying. So the game opens with a level where you're fighting loads of small robot things, but the amount of times you're panning past them and then panning back, and then you've gone too far again, you're panning back, and I was like, the fuck is going on here? And it's because by the time you realise that you're shooting past them, like the crosshair's going past them, when you try and adjust it, it's already too late. And so, you know what I mean? It's bad. It is really, really bad. And what makes it worse is when you remember that Halo had been out for a while on the previous console. You can see why this was panned so heavily. And there's missions where you don't know what you're really supposed to be doing. Like, it doesn't really explain. And there's bits where, like, music just cuts out for no reason. And you're like, why? There's this obsession, right? Clearly, the devs' fault. One of the things we want to do is show that enemies know where they've been hit, right? So if you shoot them in the leg, they know they've been shot in the leg. They're not just like falling over. If you shoot them in the head, they know they've been shot in the head or whatever. But the way they've dictated that back to the player is that you shoot them and they go, oh, my arm. Oh, my foot. Ow, my hand. You hear that all the way through. It's
That's
so
the power
weird.
of the 360, though, that you could do that finally.
Yeah. And there's a clip where I sent it to you today where you've hit someone on the back of the head and they just like planked, like shot up into the air a bit. I went, ow! It's just really bizarre. And then obviously you're hearing the comments that don't age well now, and were never acceptable, but they certainly don't age well now, where they're like, hey little girl, what are you doing here? And all this sort of stuff. And you're just like, fuck off. It's, it has a cover system where when you get into cover, that's it. You're locked in. So if you want to come out of cover, you've got to press A, move away from the wall, then move to the other side of the wall, and then press A again to get back into cover. It's just like, it's terrible.
It's also really interesting as well because this was the game where, like, because they launched the 360 without a new Halo game, and I remember this being billed obviously because this should have been good, really. I mean, it had very good pedigree. You know, it came from like, you know, GoldenEye, then you got Perfect Dark, and then people were excited for this, you know, because there was this idea that even if it wasn't as good as Perfect Dark on the N64, it should still be solidly brilliant game, and it really wasn't. It kind of tanked like the franchise completely for like a very, very long time.
And it's amazing that they think about going back to it. They really need to do a good job because someone said on the stream, I can't remember who it was, but someone said this come out on the same day as Call of Duty 2.
Yeah.
Like, Call of Duty 2 was a good first-person shooter. Like, how the fuck did this come out the same day as that? And this was the one they were trying to push. My stream's up on YouTube now if you want to watch it, or you can watch the replay on Twitch. I might play again this weekend. But when I saw that I did mission 0, then I did mission 1 and 2, and then I looked it up and there's 14 missions, I thought, fuck me. And it's got that other thing as well. You fail in a mission, you die in a mission, you're starting that mission again.
Yeah, and the fail states in it are really irritating as well, from what I remember. Like, it can just suddenly happen. You're like, oh, great, I've got to do another half an hour of this again. You know, and it's there was one level that I did that had turrets in it, and the idea was to blow up the turrets. But the moment you look at the turret, it's just shooting at you, and you're just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? It's just bizarre, really weird, and they've got gadgets, and the gadgets don't work properly. It's just a fucking weird game. But I am interested to see how bad it gets. So maybe I'll give it another stream. It didn't make for a good stream because it's me just looking at it, playing it, just going, what the fuck? Well, it's also interesting, isn't it? Because it's part of like the history of Rare, where they like went to Microsoft and they had like a lot of games which were not really very good. That sort of came out, and then they got, they were given Connect duty, for like a long period of time, and it's only been recently they've started to come out of that and do really good stuff again.
Well, it always. I promise I'm not going to talk about Sea of Thieves, Dave, but in Sea of Thieves, in the premium store, right, where you you spend real money for like ship decorations and stuff, and they've got loads that are themed after Rare games. And you're like, all right, Viva Pinata, fair enough. Killer Instinct, personally not a fan, but it's doing all right now.
It is a Rare game. Yeah.
Bit of an institution. You also?
It is a Rare game, so they might as well see it
technically.
In there.
Yeah. But then it's like Battletoads and cameo elements of power, and there's like a Joanna Dark ship, and you're just like, no, don't remind people.
No, I know, but that would be a GoldenEye ship. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, that should be a GoldenEye ship, but they can't.
Probably not allowed.
So that's kind of it. I mean, Rare, the pedigree from Rare really comes from that N64 era. Like Blast Claw.
Yeah, it does.
And
there was, it was hit after hit, wasn't it? There was a lot of such good stuff they put out.
Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye. It was just, relentless. Conker's Bad Fur Day and all that stuff. To a lesser extent. But, it was hit after hit. And, I just, Sea of Thieves, as much as you guys like it and back it, it didn't bang or launch the way.
Oh, God, no, we all took the piss.
You'd hope a rare game does. So we do, I just hope they do turn it around and their next thing. But are they actually doing the new Perfect Dark game?
No, they're not, are they? It's
the Initiative.
The Initiative.
Oh, it's the Initiative, yeah.
There was that thing as well where the lead designer's left as well, just like recently. It's like he was on it and then he's gone.
I mean, the world's got potential. It's a name that I don't think it's going to reflect Perfect Dark at all. But you can take the main themes of Perfect Dark and create an excellent first-person shooter. There's no reason why that can't be good.
Didn't that trailer show that it was set in one of those theoretically possible but not actually real yet buildings where it's just like a skyscraper that's totally self-sufficient, so it grows all its own food and it does all its like, and it was just an interesting concept to me as a sci-fi nerd. I think keen to see what they do with it.
I think there's potential in the world to completely reimagine what Perfect Dark is, and if they do that, that's great. I genuinely don't think it's going to be one of those cases where they're like, we're going to try and keep to the originals, guys. I don't think there's any need to do that or any want to do that. So I think I'm going to that a little bit optimistic, at least. If it was Rare doing it and them going, we're really going to focus on what Perfect Dark did so right in the original, then I would go, yeah, this is going to be a stinker. But let's see how this one comes out. But yeah, not a good time Saturday night. Not a good time. James.
Yeah, I mean, I've played some things this week, but not anything. I mean, the one thing I've played in any depth.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
What?
Why have you got Crackdown 3 written down?
That's exactly what I was going to talk about. Because
what is the matter? What is wrong with you?
Let me explain. Okay, so first of all,
answer the question.
I'm just about to explain.
What is wrong with you? Go on.
What is wrong with you, James?
Balan Wonderworld 2 weeks in a row. Crackdown 3.
Yeah. Anyway, so what happened? So can I talk about Mario 3D World first? Because I just want to. I've got not a lot to say about it, but I'm right at the end of the game now, and I'm at that stage where I'm not. It's not that I don't know if I can be bothered to continue. It's just that it's kind of annoying. Do you remember the 30-star run, Dave? At the end.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Where you have to do it like flawlessly, basically.
Yeah,
for 5 minutes.
I don't think I didn't 100% it back in the day, so I definitely didn't finish that.
See, I did it on the Wii U, but I'm at that stage where I'm like, I don't know if I can be bothered to do it on here because it's just it'll mean that I'll be sitting there for like a good half an hour or whatever, just doing it over and over and irritating myself.
Yeah, but you know what you do. You know what you do. You're trying to do the 30-star run at the end of playing a hell of a lot of 3D World. You should put it away, and then like in a year's time or 6 months' time or whatever, you just go, do you know what, I'll have another crack at that. Sod it, why not? That's the way you do it.
Yeah, maybe.
If it's irritating you that much, there's no need to push through the barrier.
I know, that's why I've kind of stopped now, because it's that, and it's the last Championship Road level as well, which is also ridiculous as well.
Hard.
It's really difficult. And I tell you, I mean, this is the thing that I also think is really interesting about 3D World is that if you go through the first, like basically the game stops. And then it opens up like a whole bunch of extra like sort of worlds as well that you have to go through. Yeah. Like the flower world and the mushroom world and that kind of thing. The difficulty gap between those is quite punishing. Like in the sense that
massive, yeah.
Yeah, and it's there's not like a nice like sort of curve up into that. It just suddenly becomes much harder.
It is okay, kids, give it to your parents now. Although, to be fair, the main game isn't easy. Like, Harry's struggled with it way more than he did with Mario Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
But, he's been determined to get through it. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's, like, easy to the level of, say, Mario Odyssey to get to the end.
No, probably not.
And, he's flying through Bowser's Fury, so he's having no trouble with that. It's definitely harder than Bowser's Fury. So yeah, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. When you get to the end game stuff, it's way harder.
Yeah, I mean, mostly in a good way, but there's a couple of levels in there which are just complete bullshit and really annoying. There's
really?
that. Do you remember there was that one which is like in the swamp, and it's also dark, and you obviously need to try and get all the stars through it, and you do that by lighting torches like around the level.
I don't remember that.
There's about 15 of them, and the trouble is I mean, in the end, I had to turn my TV brightness up because you can't see where you're jumping to at all, and it's like it's instant death. Like if you fall into a thing, so you're not only trying to like light all these torches, you've got piranha plants everywhere, like biting at you, and you can't see where you're jumping to, and it's just like this is not fun. This is just ridiculous. And I mean, I did it in the end, but I felt annoyed. By it. But in general, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of done for the moment, and maybe I'll go back to it and do those
other. Right, okay, just turn it off for a bit, give it a break.
30-star thing, but it's But overall, really good. The other thing, as I said, that I have played is Crackdown 3. Now, let me explain why I played Crackdown 3. The other week you were talking about how when you were playing Miles Morales in the beginning, you just wanted to like jump around, you know. Yeah, you just wanted to like, you know, fly around and just like, you know, pick up the backpacks and all that kind of thing.
That's right.
I really just felt like playing something where I'm just going to blow stuff up and just jump around. And
okay, my prediction is you actually quite appreciate it now.
Not really. I mean,
you're kidding me. It's really good for that Crackdown 3. I went through a similar position where when that game launched, I was like, I'm not after a proper game. I just want to sit back, lay down, and blow shit up. And it was brilliant for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for it. It's just that it is very repetitive and it is very mindless.
Yeah.
But then
100%.
I was in the right. But that's the thing. I was in the right place for it this weekend.
That's it.
I mean, I finished it. I finished the whole game, and it doesn't take.
Okay.
It doesn't take long. It's not a very difficult game, really. I don't think to go through. And it's
not difficult. But how long was it?
I know, maybe about 6 hours. I think totally.
Really?
I mean,
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty short. And I mean, but then this shows that there must be something to it because I finished the game and I didn't switch it off actually after the credits, and I was just like, I probably could get a few more orbs, you know that. And I did start just jumping around still and, you know, collecting a few more things, and I did have a reasonably good time with it. It's just that it is very mindless. It hasn't evolved at all from like the original Crackdown, I don't think, really. I still think it looks horrible. I'm not impressed by that, but there is something to it, you know, which is still enjoyable, I think, to,
I mean,
to play.
it wasn't a 10 out of 10. It wasn't even an 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, it's like 6 /
there was a lot of
7
pressure on it when it came out, wasn't it? Because it was one of the few exclusives that year for Microsoft.
But then there was also people that have been following the development and just saying, well, as long as it just like blows shit. That's the angle that I came to it. You know, I wasn't expecting a great exclusive, but what I was expecting is for at least it to have a little bit of that Crackdown magic, and I think that's the right description of it. It has a little bit of that Crackdown magic.
Yeah, very little bit.
I went with low expectations and I enjoyed it. Very low expectations, but you know.
Yeah. You hated it when you originally played it, though, right?
Me?
No, I think
James did. No, James did.
I was going to say, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I thought you were going to elaborate on that, Matt, but yeah, you didn't.
No, David was asking you a question.
I know he was asking you a question.
Okay, James, is your heart in this anymore? Are you giving up?
Yes.
He had a think.
Yeah.
Do you just you talk answer. And then you just tune out for a bit? Go on. What?
Yeah.
So that it for?
The other thing I played Yakuza Like a Dragon because I got that at the beginning of last week, and I started playing it, but I've hardly played it at all because I no longer have a PS5 at the moment, and that's because
Scalper, absolute scum.
Yeah, sold it for $4,500.
Yeah,
£1,300
to a little child.
eBay. Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay.
No, I sent it off.
You are
to
not
Sony
putting
to
up with
repaired.
our bullshit this week, are you? You are not in the mood for our bullshit.
Do you know what it is? Because the first half of the show was so brisk, he's scenting an early bedtime.
Yeah, I was about to say we started
and now he's
30 minutes late.
And now he's like, if I just don't let them interrupt me, we can get to bed by 11:30.
It's not going to happen. It's absolutely not going. We're not even at questions yet. This is a past 12er. I can feel it.
Okay.
It's the way it's going. But yeah, so yeah, I got fed up with the sound from my PS5. You know, from this like weird sort of fan noise or vibrating or whatever. And when I was playing Like a Dragon, it started making this new whirring noise as well, like from time to time. And I was like, I really don't like the sound of this. So I called them up today, and I've just sent it back to them to get it repaired or replaced or whatever. So I'm not going to be playing this for a while.
You really don't like doing that, do you?
I hate doing it.
Don't like doing
I was going to say, imagine if he'd done this with his Xbox all those years ago.
That's what I was going to say. Yep.
It was out of war. Yeah, but Cullen, you can't. That console was just it was just broken from the beginning. It was a terrible machine.
Yours was
particular.
It was not. It was that original Xbox was a crap console.
Yeah,
it was
a crap console, but yours was broken.
No, it wasn't. It was no more broken than anyone's. You just said that because it made you feel better about the fact that it was fucked.
No, because when I got a second-hand OG Xbox One, I was like, oh, this is fine. What's James on about?
And not only that,
you
James,
barely played it, Sean.
You kept going, I tell you what I don't like about the new Xbox is how it keeps turning itself on. And we were like, it doesn't do that.
No, I know, that was legitimately something that was wrong with my one, but also other people had that. It wasn't just me.
Other people had broken Xboxes, you're right.
It was a crap console, the Xbox One. It was a terrible console.
It was a bit of a rubbish console.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't not everyone's was broken. You had a worst experience because it was broken and you didn't want to get it fixed or replaced.
It was a terrible console.
I should never have brought this up.
I don't know. I think you should have brought it up because it brings me back to this. You dithered on getting this fixed for ages. You sent me a message and saying, I've just seen this video, I think I'm going to give it a go, where you open up the fan and add these rubber bands to it and and it fixes it. And I was like, James, don't do that. If anything goes wrong with your PS5, then your warranty's fucked. Don't do that. What are you doing?
I know, it's just I hate sending these things off because then it's like you're looking at ages, you've got to wait until like the turnaround. There's the whole thing of like, you know, whether they're going to do it or not, or whether you get something back and it's any better than the one that you just sent off. I just hate it. I really hate doing it.
In the long run, it's way better, isn't it? You got two consoles, send one off for a week. That's what I had to do with my Series X. Just get it sorted.
I know, but I'm always bothered that I'm going to get something back and it's going to be worse, like somehow. Like, there'll be something wrong with it. Like, I told you that today. I said to you and Matt, I was like, you know what's going to happen? They'll send me back the digital one. Like, or something like that.
You're not getting it from Argos, are
you?
No. Yeah, okay, right. So you started like a dragon.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not very far into it at all because I didn't, because of the problem that I'm having with this, I just thought I don't want to sort of start getting into this and then have to get rid of it. And yeah, I'm still not liking the turn-based side of the combat though. I mean, I've only played it for about an hour, but I don't know.
You have liked games with that though.
Yeah,
You're
I like Persona.
fan of the Mario games, aren't you? The Paper Mario stuff.
Although the most recent one I hated. Like, I hated what they did.
Yeah, but that was different because it had puzzles in it and shit.
Yeah,
that was turn-based for the main part, wasn't it? The Colour Splash was.
Yeah, I don't know. I just.
I'm really trying with you. I'm really trying with you. You like that one, didn't you, James? Come on.
Love that.
Yeah,
love that game.
I don't know. I just don't like turn-based games in general, and I'm just a bit. I'm hoping this will be better, and I will enjoy it. But at the moment, I'm not because I just enjoy the combat in those games. Once you start to level the characters up and they start to get stronger, and you can start doing it just feels satisfying to smash someone's face into a wall. And I don't think I'm going to get that feeling as much with the turn-based one, but I don't know. We'll see.
James, I saw some people on Discord suggesting maybe that there was there's like a reason to play Yakuza 5 or 6 before this one. Did that cross your mind or not?
Well, that was the thing because I've played 6 already because I've played all of these out of order because of when they came out. And
out of order.
Which is a bit of a problem. But I thought about playing 5 first, but that's another 45 hours plus. And I thought I don't really want to just have to go through that and then play this. I just want to play this now because it's new and I want something to play on my PS5 that looks nice. And yeah, although now I can't because I haven't even got one. So there you go.
How's that working out for you?
Yeah,
okay, that's what we've been planning this week. Let's get on to the questions. Come on, Sean.
Questions. If you want to send us a question, you can go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS using your favourite web browser, Edge, Netscape Navigator. There's all sorts of great options.
The one was it on the DS? Opera, was it?
Opera, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
I bring it back.
I will say this, how long do we leave it before we mention the one that we got through Dear TCGS where we couldn't reply? How long before it's safe to talk about that? Because I think we should mention it because the person involved would like to hear that we haven't just ignored them, right?
Yeah, but I don't think the person that sent the message actually listens to the show. That's the problem.
No. But the person that listens to it, we can say what we need to say to them.
Well, we don't because we don't know their name.
Yes, we do. The name's in the original thing, yeah. Yeah,
okay.
definitely. Definitely. Okay, well, maybe we'll leave it a couple more weeks.
No, there isn't. There's no name in that.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay, but there's the name of the person that... Right, okay, we're talking around it, right? Okay, we'll leave it a couple of weeks and then we'll just say it, because I think I just don't want to look like a dick that's ignored
we'll say it again. I mean, I don't think that person listens, but if you messaged us and you really wanted a response about a very specific request, you didn't leave us any contact details, we can't respond to you.
Yeah. And maybe your name is... Should we say the name of the person that messaged you? We've got nothing to
know. No, because then that might ruin the surprise for the for the listener.
All right, fine. Let's go.
And to everyone else who's listening, just to be clear, not a sex thing.
Not a sex thing.
Speaking of sex things...
I've just seen the first name on the phone.
Yeah, Joshua Garrity says... recently, I played and finished Homeworld due to a current wave of excitement for all things space brought on by catching up with The Expanse. Good man. So, have there been any instances where excitement for something outside of games has propelled you to finally play a title?
It's got to be FIFA for you, isn't it, Sean?
Yeah, bloody love football. And I thought, do you know what? It's time to finally translate that to a 3-year-old football game.
Is it coming home?
It is coming home. But when are we going to see the rest of it, Sean? Come on.
I mean, probably. 18's still on the shelf. It's still there.
Get that stream.
Get it. You've got to see what happens with Danny Williams, with his arc. How that
because
goes.
I'm fairly convinced it's something really sad, and I don't want to know.
It's Danny Williams.
So if I don't ever open that door, it'll never happen.
Mm.
Have I ever been convinced to play a game based on outside sources? I don't think I have, I can't think of a single instance where I've looked at something. It's always been the other way around. It's always been like, I'm getting into Tony Hawk's. Maybe I'll be into skating. Nope. It's always been the other way around for me. There's never been like an outsource. I suppose I played the South Park game because I liked South Park, the cartoon, but does that really count?
I suppose, if that's just a licensed thing.
It wasn't an existing thing, was it? I was already into South Park, and then the South Park game came out, so it don't really count, I don't think.
That's the only thing I can think of with Star Trek games from the early 90s or whatever that were dreadful. That I played just because they were Star Trek games.
I think that counts. If they were already out and then you got into Star Trek and then you went back and played those games, that must count, right?
Mm.
I suppose Monster Jam counts for me because I don't know if I'd have checked that out if it wasn't for the fact that I was watching the actual events on the telly with Isaac.
I certainly wouldn't have played the Jedi Fallen Order if it wasn't for Star Calls. Mm-hmm. That would not have been on my radar had I not got into the Star Wars universe. But again, I got into that before that game came out. So Matt.
No, I can't. I'm the same as you. Like everything, I've either played a game and then wanted to do more stuff and seen other things because of that. Like I played Spider-Man 2018, love that, want to watch Spider-Man movies, so on and so forth. Mostly bad, actually.
I watched a bit of a Spider-Man movie that was on over Christmas based on the fact that I played the game. I just hated it. So I turned it off. What was it? I sent you a clip of it, didn't I, Sean? Was it Homecoming? Was it that one?
Oh, yeah. Did you send me a clip? I can't remember. Yeah, it was one of the Tom
I sent you a clip and said, look how bad the CGI is in this. I thought it was like from the early 2000s and it was like 2019.
Which is so weird because I saw that in the cinema and then you sent me that clip. I was like, fuck, that is terrible. How did I not
it's weird.
notice that? Fuck. Right, Brutus. Mate, I like your question, but it's too fucking long. So I'm going to summarise it.
Okay,
basically, he's had a big like chronological gap in his video gaming. He basically sort of did a time jump from the PS1 to now, and he's catching up on a load of good stuff.
Wow, that must blow your fucking mind.
Yeah, he wants to get into Dark Souls, but he's not sure like what the relationship is between Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Bloodborne and all the rest of it. And doesn't know where to start. He's got a PS4 and a Switch. I mean, my personal advice would be just go in with Dark Souls. Sorry,
definitely.
The reason it gets confusing, if you're totally new to this, is people refer to Dark Souls as the first one. Demon Souls, on the PS3 was the first one, and then Dark Souls came along. I think for a lot of people, like Dark Souls is where it really hit home and sort of became a relative success. Dark Souls 2 and 3 are absolutely fine. They're just not as, I don't know, thematically nuanced as Dark Souls was. I mean, Bloodborne is also great, but it's kind of its own separate thing. I gather the Demon Souls remake on the PS5 is great, but then he mentioned he doesn't have a PS5 yet. I think if you just go in with Dark Souls now, you'll have a great time.
Yeah,
that would be my advice.
I mean, either Dark Souls or Bloodborne. I reckon they seem to be independent enough to really get you into what those games are about. I would always say Dark Souls because that's the first one that I played, but I know there's a lot of people that would say no, play Bloodborne.
Yeah, or equally people who started with Demons who are like, Dark Souls is good, but it's not the same as Demon Souls.
Exactly. If it feels like one of those series that, same with Sekiro, that if that's the first one you played, that's the one that you're into the most.
Yeah.
But I mean, Dark Souls is just, and if you enjoy listening to this, I don't know if all the episodes are up, but you may not have heard of a series that we did. If we did Starkles a couple of years ago, where I watched all the Star Wars films for the first time, but before that, like years before that, we did a podcast series called Dark Calls. Where James played Dark Souls for the first time, and the only advice he could get on the game, he wasn't allowed to look up any guides or anything like that. All he had to do was call me and ask me how to do stuff. And I had only completed the game once a year before, so I'd forgotten a lot of it. So play along with James Farley. That's my advice. Play Dark Souls, listen to Dark Calls while you're playing it, and and also, every time you complete an area, right, it's pretty obvious that you've finished an area. Every time you've completed an area, go and check out Bonfireside Chat and listen back to the area that you've just completed, because that is fascinating. It's a brilliant podcast, and they go into all the lore, and it's really, really interesting to listen to while you're playing through it as well. So probably
don't think all the Dark Souls episodes are online. I had intended to post them back online, but I haven't done that yet.
We should do that at some point. Yeah, do a rerun of it.
Yeah, we will do, yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Steve Douglas says, am I an arsehole?
Yes, next question.
It says, with the difficulties purchasing the new consoles due to scalpers, it got me thinking. Back when the Nintendo Wii was released, I pre-ordered the console, but when it came to launch day, I saw the console selling on eBay for a premium. I decided that once my console arrived, I'd list it on eBay for a quick profit and just purchase another console for myself once they were available again. I sold the console quickly, and after eBay and PayPal fees, I made around 50% profit. I was then able to use that money towards the purchase of another console about a month later, and essentially got the console for half price. I would have been 20 years old and didn't have much money, so it just seemed like a sensible thing to do. Does this make me an arsehole? Also, when the Switch was released, I didn't intend on purchasing one for myself at launch. I couldn't afford to, but I saw CEX was paying the full retail price in cash for them, so I purchased a Switch with my staff discount. Then I took the console straight to CEX and made 28 quid. Not a huge profit, but my newborn child had just spent 2 months in the NICU, and his mum wasn't receiving any maternity pay, so it was a quick way to make a very small amount of extra money. Does this also make me an arsehole? I know my examples are a bit different to scalper bots taking hundreds of units, but I just wanted your opinions. I mean, absolutely not an arsehole is my view. I really don't like. I mean, even with the current situation, like, times are shit. If you've managed to get hold of a PS5 and flip it for a bit of profit, whatever. But it's the industrialization of it.
Yeah, I
get
the bots,
it, isn't it, and all that doing it.
Yeah, I get it. But there is also the idea that if everyone did that, then people that could only afford the console, true. It's one of those things. Well, if you're rich enough, you can buy one. It's like one of those, but. I think flipping the old console is not the end of the world, is it? Matt, you've got a bit of history with this, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done this in the past, yeah. Not always successful, but I did it. I mean, I remember when I bought PS4, I was collecting one of my two, because I'd sold one on eBay. The one for myself, I was collecting that from Sainsbury's. And I was like, oh, do you have any more? So, I've only got a couple more. He's like, oh, okay, I'll take another.
Really?
Because I knew CX were offering £50 extra for me to sell them as used one because they're hard to get hold of. Only
I've never had the balls to do that, and
so
I'll tell you why. Because I know,
I'll take a second.
I know the moment I'd bought it that all of a sudden CX would drop their price by about £100. I'd be like, oh, for fuck, what have I done? It's just my luck. That's the way I view it. I can't see me. Yeah, I do. I hate that shit. I can't deal with it because
I'm sure I probably could have tried and done a PS5 and Xbox thing, but I couldn't be bothered this time. I don't know if I've got it in me anymore.
Officially not an arsehole, Steve.
Yep. Put that on your CV.
Put it on your LinkedIn.
Oh, such and such.
LinkedIn's
weird, isn't it?
LinkedIn's very weird.
What social media platform goes, give us a bit of money and we'll tell you who looks at your profile? Yeah. Fuck off.
I mean, if all the others did, they would make billions because everyone is constantly doing that.
But even they know that that's a bit much. What is it? He goes, did you know such and such is on there sharing stuff? Don't care. Stop emailing me. Fuck off.
Yeah, LinkedIn is the worst, absolute worst network by far. It's horrendous.
Yeah, I hate it.
But isn't it incredible that it's so like everyone seems to hate it, and yet you've sort of got to be on it if you work in certain industries or.
Yeah,
it's
you do have to have like an active profile and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I see so many people who are just posting shit on there for likes, and it's just like it makes me want to rip my own eyeballs.
I putting all my Twitter stuff on LinkedIn.
Yeah, do that.
I'd love to know what happened to that. Yeah.
No more jobs.
LinkedIn feels to me like Darman, the social network. It's just,
It's when you see people be like seeming like so sincerely excited about the most boring like industry specific stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like people being totally jazzed about stuff that like doesn't even make sense to normal people, and you're just like, mate, it's just a job. You don't have to. I don't know. Well,
I just looked at my Twitter account and thought, what if this was my LinkedIn? And my latest tweet is, "Perfect Dark Zero is not a good game." I'm so tempted to put that on LinkedIn just to see if like my boss likes it.
Do that and like never update your status for like another 5-10 years.
Everyone gets an email. David Turner shares his opinions on LinkedIn. Look at his latest post. Perfect Dark Zero is not a good game.
Your friends are posting. Here's an example.
Is it weird? Because obviously, like pretty much everyone, occasionally there'll be someone you follow on Twitter, and it's like, oh, they've locked their account for a bit. Probably applying for jobs.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Right, Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS Coronation Street fans, I think she's done that one before."
No, she hasn't. I've not heard that. Oh, maybe she has.
I don't know.
We should start a wiki.
It's been years.
We should start a wiki, right? Yeah, there's no way we can keep track at this point. It says, James is perhaps the most obvious assassin in history. After choking out an NPC in Hitman 3, punching the one next to him, and remaining crouched as he danced around in the presence of incoming bullets, James concluded on his last stream, "Okay, that didn't work. That wasn't a smooth run. That was not very smooth."
If you've not seen James's Hitman streams, they are something special. My favourite moment was when he was in a nightclub and he walked into a toilet full of people and strangled someone in front of everyone and then panicked and punched 2 civilians in the face. I just went, didn't mean to do that.
I honestly
the original person got back up, so he killed that one, snapped their neck, and then as was walking out, just punched a woman in the back of the head.
I honestly don't know if he's. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, and I don't want to know. I'm not asking. It's fascinating. The question is: imagine you were characters in a stealth game. Which personal trait or bad habit would give away your presence and prevent you from becoming smooth operators?
Oh, that's easy for James.
Fine.
Okay. No, it's fine.
Yeah, fine.
Knocking books off the shelf.
Can't mute a mic when you're on an assassin mission, can you, James?
Very true. Yeah.
Maybe would just be my verbal diarrhea, wouldn't it?
I was going to say blurting out office quotes, surely.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't stop myself.
Just dragging the body across the floor, going up to someone and going, just an example of the laughs we have around it.
Yeah. Maybe if he just sits down.
when he's laying on the floor, going, tickle him.
At least starting him.
At least starting him and move on to Mr.
Mr. Dead Man.
Sean would be easy for Sean. It's his moral compass as he's walking around. Yeah, just blurting out about how Dale, I know he's the enemy, but let's see it from his point of view. Shut up, just kill him, agent.
Just going up to the target and being like, mate, can we talk this out? I don't want to have to just
tell me about your childhood, and we'll see how you've got to this point.
Yeah. It's not your fault. It's
I feel like I can put you on a better path, I might get away with not strangling you with this piano wire.
All of a sudden, you got a bullet in your head. Nice one, Sean.
Yeah. What about Matt?
I think that's...
Matt just be cutting about on his skateboard.
Very stealthily.
Well, Matt, I imagine Matt legitimately turning up like the "What's up, fellow children" guy, or whatever he is. What's up, fellow kids? Yeah. And they'd just be like, "You're not our age." Yeah, I am. I'm cool. I can hang with you.
I'm a cool assassin.
Have you guys know Drake? I was watching this YouTuber the other day. That'd be Matt.
Anyone want to do a next nominate?
NFTs?
He's undercover and his wig slips slightly to the right hand side and completely gives him away.
Surgical hair replacement, David, not wig.
I think that's a comprehensive answer to that question, isn't it?
Yep. MD Kraboff says that Jay from the In-Betweeners has made 300 grand on Camino. Which TCGS colleague would gross the most on Camino in 4 weeks?
What is Camino? What is it?
It's like one of those
like Cameo.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those you pay a celebrity to give you a message. James Farley, easy.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone would want a James Farley message.
Oh,
Should we start doing them? Shall we start doing them for full nails?
Sorry, is Camino a real thing?
I was just checking. It's not, is it? I think it just means
cameo, isn't it?
I've googled it. Cameo, I can't find it. It must be.
It's all just coming up with the Camino de Santiago stuff. It's an old Catholic pilgrimage.
Typo, isn't it?
A personalised video message from James Farley for our Patreon. Sat on Patreon. We'll have to think about this. We'll think about the details. But
but if us four on it, easily James will be the one.
Yeah.
Raking it in.
100%. 100% James would earn enough.
Well, you wouldn't do it, James, like 15 quid?
No.
Well, if you get 10 of them a day, that's...
Well, you're above that.
Profit.
No, I don't know. I really don't think anyone would want that. I really don't. I mean, I'm looking at this now.
My God, you're asking for it now. Please email in if you want a personalised video from James Farley. Please get in touch.
Do we get a cut?
Money yet? We'll set him up on Cameo, then we'll sort the commercials out.
Yes, we get a cut. How much do agents get? It's usually 10%, isn't it?
Depends on the agent, I think.
All right, let's go 60%.
Depends on the client.
60%. We'll get 60% of what James is getting.
Okay.
That's the way it
goes.
Sounds good. Yeah. 20 each. That sounds about fair, right?
Yeah. Right.
We'll sort that out.
Phil Winefridge says...
That's pretty good.
I'm all right with that being a running joke because people are getting further and further out with it. It's good. I've just completed Life is Strange 2 and it was magnificent. I've also loved the spoiler cast. The Walking Dead and Life is Strange podcast have been my favourite of your shows. The bickering is absolutely fantastic and you get to see the real side of you all, e.g. Matt's treatment of the cougar and constantly lying to Daniel.
To protect him.
Any plans for more spoiler casts in the near future? Cheers for all your hard work on the show.
I know it needs to be the right game.
I think, I know we keep saying we want to do the Disco Elysium one, right? When the new edition comes out, if everyone's up for replaying
maybe, that. But that's not really a series, is it? I mean, the problem is the last Don't Nod game was so shit for a spoiler cast that it kind of makes us go, do we really want to do
the last one? The last one we didn't even bother with.
That's right.
Twin Mirror.
Yeah. Oh, God,
no one did. No one did. No, but tell me what you did last night was not great for a spoiler cast.
No.
So,
I really enjoyed our Last of Us 2 one.
No, but the thing is though, the Tell Me Why or whatever was the good thing about that though is at least there was
whatever.
There was, but the thing is, there was things we could talk about with that, and there were things we didn't like about it. The thing I'm worried about with Disco Elysium one is obviously we all think it's brilliant. That's, I don't know. I sometimes I like to play something where there can be a bit of disagreement about things, and I'm not sure there would be.
I want you to tell your story about what you did with Kuno, because that will really expose you as the monster that you are.
Well, I think that's what will be interesting about Disco Elysium is all the different decisions we made. Because I think even if you try and play, like if you two people try and play the game in the exact same way, the dice roll system means things are still going to shake out differently, and I think that'd be really interesting.
Also, if you want conflict, I can go into why I think the ending of that game is extremely unsatisfying, which I'm sure Sean really disagrees with me about.
I do, but also that doesn't mean like you might not have seen the same ending that I did because of the way it, and that might have been for a really bullshit reason, and that's potentially a problem. So yeah. What else we got? Last one, Rob Mitchell.
No, hang on, before we go, right? Walking Dead, right? Did we do a Walking Dead spoiler cast?
No, we didn't.
On Joypod.
No, we didn't.
On Joypod we did. Yes, we did.
Yeah, Joypod we did. God, yeah.
Yeah, because we had the whole thing about Matt ending up with just Ben.
yeah, we did.
Yes, okay, cool, yeah. Because someone tweeted us the other day saying, "Have you done Walking Dead one?" And I'm like,
no, but what we did with that? Right? We only did series 1, and we did it at the end of an episode or something as well. We didn't like do them separate episodes.
No, we did a separate one for the final episode.
Right,
we did. Yeah.
We did one at the end of a Joypod for the penultimate episode, and then we did a separate one for for the final episode of The Walking Dead.
Okay.
I just remember Matt talking about how he ended up with Ben. So good.
Very upsetting.
Have you still got that canvas that I sent you of Ben?
Yeah,
black and white canvas of Ben.
I still got it here in my top drawer.
So good. This is my favourite gift I've ever bought anyone.
It was a good one.
That was one of the best things, though, wasn't it? His story, where you're just thinking he was going to maybe he'd turn it around.
He did in mine.
Ben, not Matt. And,
he did in mine.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't think he ever turns it around.
Yeah, you slagged me off because I dropped him in the clock tower.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But on my game, the way that played out for me, he was begging to be dropped so he could save the rest of the group. It was like his redemption. He was sacrificing himself for the group. And I didn't know that if you did pick him up, everything was fine. It made no difference. Yeah. But in that moment, I let him go because it was redemption, and it totally worked in context of the story. So in my one, he become a hero. But in your one, you just stopped him.
It was
dying.
Continuous failure, like basically.
Yeah.
Incredibly upsetting. I've just actually put a picture in our WhatsApp of my canvas of Ben I've still got.
Amazing.
You might have to tweet that.
Poor boy.
Yeah. Rob Mitchell says, I have a Series X, and I'm looking at how to maximise the... I know, yeah.
Jesus, all right.
Money bags. Looking at how to maximise the experience of using it, so I'm looking to upgrade my current £40 run-of-the-mill headphones to a gaming headset that will hopefully make gaming a more immersive experience. I'm not an online player, so the mic quality is of little relevance to me, but what headsets do you all use, and do you have any recommendations as to a good gaming headset? For reference, I play a lot of RPG-style games, so something making use of Dolby Atmos or something similar would be really valuable.
For starters, the companies that we have spoken to that do headsets that then completely blanked us, they're going to regret it now. Yeah, because we're going to talk about headsets. Yeah. But I've got a Turtle Beach Pro Amp 2, which works fine. It just plugs into the pad. You're not using the Pro Amp with it, but it's fine. It's a really good headset. I really like it. I mean, what do you use before we give him the ultimate answer, really?
So I'd swear by the SteelSeries Arctis range in general. I've had... I mean, there's all different. There's like 3s and 5s and 7s and 9s,
and a lot of them aren't available. Which one have you got, Matt?
Well, this is it. They seem to just
7X.
Right, so the 7X you can't buy it anymore.
It's like because everyone jumped in it because everyone basically said this is the one if you want it for all the consoles.
Right.
Yeah. But you go to their website and it's just not available. It's like they've taken it off the market or something.
Yeah, they seem to just constantly iterate on them. So Matt's 7 is completely different to my 7, which is completely different to the 7 that you could have got a year before. or whatever. It's weird. But I mean, yeah, I had. So, James, are you still using the 3s that I had?
I am, yes.
Yeah,
and I like them. Yeah,
yeah. So, I mean, they've all sounded great to me, having used the 3s and the 7s. If you're happy to just wire into the pad, then by all means, don't worry about getting wireless ones. But
the audio quality is excellent.
Yep.
The microphone, not so much.
That's true.
The microphone's the only sort of the fly in the ointment of those. Yeah. But
they're comfy and they don't look necessarily like gamer headsets. They just look like quite a nice.
They've got all like glowing stuff all over them, and all that sort of stuff, which is nice.
Yeah, I really love them.
I mean, I like the Turtle Beach ones I use, but they do look ridiculous. And the biggest problem with them is the sound leaking. Like, you might as well just have the speakers on. Yeah, if you're not, I mean, they sound incredible in your ears, but if you're in the room while someone's using them, you can hear everything. You know what I mean? Like the chat and the actual game audio. But surely the answer is that if you're in that sort of mid-space where you don't want to spend £150 to £200 on a headset, and you're not too concerned about like top end, just get the Xbox one that's coming out, I reckon.
I'm waiting for that one because I've converted my Microsoft reward points that I had from before, and
how much
I'm waiting. I've £75
nice
for them. Yeah, it's these are from
doing that Microsoft rewards.
It's great. It's great. It's a good deal.
Yeah, good use of your time.
I might give it a go.
Yeah.
But these have been out of stock. Like I couldn't pre-order them because I'm assuming there'll be more stock after they're released. Like because they come out on the 16th of March.
I made that mistake with the PS5. But yeah, no, I mean, if you're just using it for that one console, you're not too worried about because it's not going to be top end audio quality. I mean, not for 85 to 95 quid. But I mean, if you're not to the point where you care that much, I reckon that will be a good headset to get.
Yeah, totally.
If you've got one console, definitely. I mean, I researched for ages. I wanted one headset that can work on my PC, listen to music or working, or get Xbox or PS5, Switch, and the 7X do work on everything. There's a little wireless dongle you can take out, plug into Xbox, you switch to Xbox mode. If it's plugged into anything else, just have it switched to USB mode and it works on anything. So I love it. I love them for that. It's really handy.
Whereas mine work on everything apart from the Xbox, which wasn't a problem until the new Xboxes came out and one of them became my new main gaming machine.
Yeah, but then do you not just plug it into the pad, right?
I just wire into the controller and it's fine.
Yeah. So. I must admit, I'm a little bit disappointed with the 3D audio stuff on the PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm switching them on and off while I'm playing Spider-Man just to see the difference, and there's not a massive difference.
But yours is plugged into the pad, isn't it, as well? So it should work.
Yeah. When you use that spatial audio stuff on with AirPods on, say, Disney Plus, it's a massive difference. Like you really notice the difference. But then the 3D audio stuff, I was like, kind of sounds similar. But yeah, that's the showpiece. If you're using spatial audio with the AirPods or whatever, and you watch like one of the Star Wars films where Snook is talking. Snook. That is mental. How different that sounds. Like it's crazy. It's really, really interesting.
Dave, have you bothered buying a Dolby Atmos license for your Xbox?
No, I'm thinking about it. It's £15, but
it's really cool the fact you can hear the height of audio, not just the direction.
Yeah, but I thought that was what 3D audio was supposed to do, and it was kind of like okay.
Well, mate, what you mean? Well, maybe. I mean, but I haven't. The Dolby Atmos on the Xbox is excellent. That's all I do know. Whereas the 3D audio on PlayStation, even with if I plug in some standard stereo headphones, which is what it's mainly working on, because last I checked, it wasn't even working for wireless headsets. It sounded okay. I wasn't exactly blown away by it. Maybe they need to take a mold of my ear, then it'll be good.
Yeah, good point. I might try that Dolby Atmos thing then. Okay, cool. We done?
That's it. That is it.
Socials.
Yeah. Thursday, Sean, are you going to be streaming a game?
Yes, I'm hopefully going to be finishing Flower Collectors. I'm definitely at like the final chapter now, and we decided to leave it on a cliffhanger, partly because it was exciting, and partly because I was really tired. So yeah, that's definitely getting finished this week.
Cool. So that's this Thursday at 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/TCGS. Friday, James is streaming Hitman 3. Still enjoying that. That's Friday at 9. And Saturday, maybe Dave will have one last hurrah on Perfect Dark Zero.
Maybe I'll get into it. We'll see. I think I will be on Saturday, but yeah, I ain't committing to that.
It'll be Saturday at some undisclosed time, but they're all on twitch.tv/TCGSco. If you miss them live, you can go to our YouTube channel, just search TCGS on YouTube, and you can watch them after the fact. And if you've got Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime Gaming, of which you get one free subscription every single month of that. And old Bezos does not want you to give it away. He would hate it if you gave it away because that's costing them money. So go to our channel and give it to us because we really appreciate it. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS for monthly podcasts. You can't get anywhere else. Talk Servers Live. We need to arrange that for this month. And TCGS.co, which is the website where it's the store to get merch and everything else.
Cool. We will catch you next week. Thank you so much for living it. Take it easy. We love you all. Goodbye.
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 Bye.